Hello? Hello, hello? Oh, who is it? Hello? Hello? It is me. I am new and improved. I have a new outfit. What do you guys think? Did you like that intro? Layupi, everybody. Good evening. How'd you like that intro? I'm feeling great. Look at this. My outfit is now extra glamorous. Like perfect to impress the demon men. The demons and the like. Let me put some music on in the background while I show the new model. Let's make a new song this time. Loopy. Something more fitting. There we go. Is it looping? Yeah, it's looping, I think. Okay, so let me show you all the new things that I made for this model. First, on my face, nothing is new. Everything is as is. This is more or less just a cosmetic update. A new outfit that I will change every now and then. Between my normal dress, my normal witch dress, and this. First, beholden. I now have a ribbon with laces. The green screen makes it a little bit shiny on the green, so it kind of looks like it's a neat effect, so I'll just take it. The hair is as usual, but here, behold, I have a pretty necklace, you know? Look at the necklace and not at anything else. Hold on. Let me zoom out so you guys can see more. I have a nice necklace. And, well, I can say I have even more to show on that. Like, now you can actually see my fingers. Before you couldn't see them before. And they move. Look! You can see my hands. I have hands. And I have nice fingernails. They are painted. Like, look, they are painted and they move when I move. I also have pretty nice stockings with nice laces, all self-designed. And the boots. I like my ankle boots a lot. They're very nice. You can't see the heels, unfortunately, unless I zoom super far in. Like, look, it's high heels, but you can't really see it. You can only see it when I move to the side, like, You can see a hint of heels. I learned how to walk on high heels even more just for this occasion. Oh yeah, and on the corset, look. It's kind of squishy. I hope you can really see a little bit of my squish. And also the details that I added with the corset. Like these little seams and whatnot. It's high quality. And the skirt physics. The skirt physics are nice too. Like, when I go up and down, the physics are good. Like when I go to the side as well. But you can never see what's below the skirt. That's forbidden. That's Demon Butler access only. But so that you can beholden this in full. Like that. But most importantly, I have my expressions are all the same as before. Like I can still get angry, I can still have sparkly eyes and the blushes and whatnot. The most important update, guys. Behold, this is the most important update that I've done on this outfit specifically. I can now place my hand on my hip and look judgmental, such as this. Are you what you doing, huh? You mashing on wake up like that, huh? Huh? Mashing level 3? Like some kind of loser? And it moves with me as well. Look! I rigged it all! And it works with every expression as well, so I can put up the hip up and down at will. I can even have this expression while my hands is on my hip. When it comes to physics, not much is new, other than the fact that the skirt physics are a little bit different. I tried to make it as 3D as I could. The melons jiggle physics are mostly the same as before. I did change a few things here and there, so if it looks a little bit more jiggly than usual, then that may be it. The hair otherwise is all the same, and I think the only difference that I've done, I have maybe like I adjusted the capturing a little bit, so maybe I'll look a little bit more flexible like this. Because in my other model I couldn't like on capture, the lips didn't follow me as well, so I think I managed to calibrate the software now that you can follow that it can follow my mouth pretty well. So yeah, that pretty much was all the updates that I had for this model. What do you guys think? Looking good. Godspeed, Demon Butler. Is there more swish in the hips, or is that just because the skirt complements them so well? I did adjust the hip parameters a little bit actually while doing the skirt physics. But let me put the hand down, then you can see it better. Like here. The same applies with the ankle boots. I did adjust the hips a little bit so that the boots follow me a little bit better. You can now see the movement more because my other outfit covers my legs a lot, like below the knees, and here you can see way more. It's great! I'm having the time of my life. Okay. Without further ado though, since this was all I wanted to show, does anyone have any more questions? Because then I'll start reading Umineko, like, I'll continue reading Umineko. I don't really have a comparison to show because this is the first time I've done this outfit. The only thing that I can like show is like the first concepts with this outfit. Hold on. I feel like that's a neat thing to show. Let me go to the side. I'll have to include an image. Concept. Image file. Hold on, I have to fetch it. I think I did design it sometime last year, maybe. Or was it sometime this year? No, it was this year that I designed it. So, you've seen this outfit in artworks before. Like this was the concept initially. Whoop! It's large. It's large. There it is. That was the original concept. Don't judge the notes. The notes were just there for no reason really. Originally it was going to be these colors, but then I decided to change up the colors a little bit because it looked a little bit didn't suit me quite well. So I returned to the dressing room, you see, and I updated the concept to this instead. And that's where I worked off the rest of this outfit. Such as including the shorts below and this part right here, the ribbon right here at the back of the corset. You can't see it in the model, but it's included. It's included into the corset. Do I have any other concepts to show? But because I think that was pretty much it. No, I don't. I didn't actually come up with the model with this outfit soon enough for no reason in particular, not to impress anybody or anything. So yeah. Bullying. What do you mean bullying? It's not for bullying at all. It's for me to bully you. Like, why do you think I can put my hand on my hip? It's not there for no reason whatsoever. This is why I can put my hand on my hip, so that I can bully you. You are the one who will be bullied, and you will enjoy it. All right, but since we are talking about bullying. Can we break the new boots in by stepping on the Jiren real quick? Oh yes, we can do that. Oh, I've been living for this. We need to summon Jiren. Add existing. Jiren. Hey! Hey you! Ó seu filho da mãe, olha pra cá, carago! Yeah, you looking at me now? Now that I speak in Portuguese, you looking at me? Filho da mãe. Eu vou te dar uma no focinho. Eu vou te dar uma no focinho, caralho. Shit! I missed! Jiren, get on the ground! You deserve to get on the ground! Yes, with the power of my mentality, you have gotten on the floor. And now I steppeth on you, as you deserve. Yes, Jiren has been stepped on. He is where he belongs, under my heel. And he will enjoy it, because he deserves nothing more in life, just stepping. I hope you enjoy your new position in the universe, Jiren, because that will be your fate forever. And now, be gone! Alright, any more requests before I start reading Umineko? Like, I'll do one more request before I start reading, because I did set the stream for Umineko, so it's like, I imagine people are coming in to see Umineko, and they're like, where's the Uminekos? Where's the Beatrices and the crying battlers and whatnot? Perfect, that made my day. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Glad that you guys like this outfit. So, I'm here for the amazing new model. Ah, that's very nice of you. That makes me happy. I did work very hard on this model. At least in the art department, because I did some more cutting. While for rigging, I mostly used my other outfit. So I could basically just keep the majority that I already rigged, since it looked good to begin with. But like everything on the head and the hair, I could keep the same, right? But like the neck and down, I had to rig again. Except the legs and the hips were fine. But yeah, outfit by itself I had to rig new. And it was fun! Rigging is fun! So, since I'm now fully prepared. Bless those legs. Oh, thanks! I take pride in my legs. My best feature are my thighs. They don't jiggle, but you know, it's because they are meant to kill. My thighs are meant to destroy. Which you can't even see them fully because the skirt is basically covering them. But this outfit gives you like a taste of what is there. Their thickness can kill. This can kill on the game board and off the game board. So I am ready. I am fully prepared. I am now fully prepared to just you know, go to go feral. Alright guys, that was my showcase for the new outfit, and we are going to jump right into some Umineko reading now. Recording is going fine, so let's go. Music slowly good to turn down. And we are switching over. I just realized I was muted, so you guys couldn't hear a thing I just said. I was saying how it's only a fraction of my thighs, and I'm glad that it's already nearly knocking you out, because I you know, I am wearing this outfit to show a little bit more off of my best features. Totally for no reason whatsoever, you know, not for like a certain someone or anything. It's totally for squashing villains and nothing else. The question is, am I going to keep reading while zoomed in like this, while showing a little bit of thigh, or do I zoom in a little bit? What do you guys think? In the meantime, let me just reload my save. Don't crash on me, please. Load. Okay, good. The save files are fine. Hold on. I can see a bit more of me. But I'm still covering a lot of the chat. Hold on. Like this. I think like this is fine. Alrighty. So, without further ado, everybody, we are returning to Rokkenjima. And, well, let me see. Let me just give a quick recap before we continue. And that was, we started episode 5, and Ramde and Bern have already, like, speedrun the 5th game board. Beato is, like, half vegetative, like, dead, but not really dead, but super catatonic, and it's sad. And we find out that Kinzo has left us, thankfully. And that Kraus is a dumbass with finances and should not be trusted with money. And we found out that Natsuhi is probably the one who should actually be the head of the family and not Kraus, because she's far more competent. And I think that's where we left off. And let's go! He will not be missed indeed. We don't need Kinzo. Let me just see if the volume is okay. Yep, I think so. Alright. After dashing to her bedroom, Jessica answered the phone call that had been transferred there.
もしもしお待たせバトラー
Butler!
6年も音沙汰なしとはどういうつもりだ
I don't think I've seen this expression from Jessica before, the one with her little fang. It's very
久しぶ
cute.
りだなお、そうなのか知るかよそんなのうぜえぜじゃあ今年の親族会議はちゃんと来るわけだろ6年ぶりだな
6 whole years. Where have you been, you little hacker? Rolling is fine, and a bit late, the initial trailer was amazing. Oh, thank you, Laura Asmos. And welcome, I hope you enjoy you enjoyed the stream. The trailer was a lot of fun to make. I haven't done motion graphics like this in ages, but I love making these kind of things, so I hope in the future I can make more. 5 businessmen in expensive suits were visiting in the parlor, giving Kraus and Nazi a progress report on their business. Spread out on the table were the blueprints and designs for a building, as well as documents related to expenditures and the like. So packed that even a teacup would have gotten in the way. Officially, they were to give Kraus a progress report, but in actuality, Kraus had called them all the way over to Rokenjima so that Nazi could hear from them directly. This was because Nazi needed to hear someone other than her husband explain what condition their business was in. Which was in the terrible condition. In other words, even though another family conference without Kinza was approaching, their business had not yet earned them any money. After telling the guests to wait for a short while, Kraus took Nazi out in the hall and once again summarized the situation.
つまり我々の想像をはるかに超えて事業は素晴らしくうまくいっていると彼らは言っているのだ。ここで私と知事との私的なコネクションが大きく効いてきた。
I'm sorry?
もはや絶対に釣り落とすことはない。
Is it possible to be more dense than
それど
Kraus?
ころか、
Is it?
例の委任状だけでなく、これまでの損失さえも一気に取り戻すことが可能なくらいの大きな話になりつつあるのだ。
Kraus spoke passionately. This made it seem all the more suspicious to Nazi, but this time at least she had to admit that everything really did seem to be going well, is it? Certainly this business Kraus boasted of had expanded in scope over the last year, and was promised an even greater payoff than had been anticipated initially. Whether it would prove to be a winner or not, investors had gathered around it and they were rapidly gaining funds. This must be what they mean when they say money summons money. Oh yes, money summons money. Please tell me the secret because I want to summon more money with my money. So, Kraus, pass me the secret. He's approaching black hole levels of density. Oh god, Kraus, please. This is why you need a wife not like Nazi. It was probably the greatest success of Kraus's life so far. No, it probably would be his greatest success yet. That point was where Nazi's misgivings lay. True, it was certain, and as Kraus had said, they wouldn't lose this catch now. However, the fish on the line had gotten too big.
必ず釣り上げられる魚だ。何も焦る必要はないのだよ。
You sure?
親父が生きていたなら、ぜひ見せて誇りたいほどの大成功なのだ。
I mean, Kraus, listen. You have 2 other women in this family who are extremely smart. 3, in fact. Their names is Rosa, Eva, and Kirie. Do you think you can keep playing them like this? And also Nazi is the one carrying this illusion, so she is actually the one who's saving his ass right now.
ええ、それは分かっています。ですがあなたは昨年、私に約束したはずです。必ず1年で何とかできると。
A pained look rose to Kraus's face. They certainly had looked at fat fish that guaranteed great success. However, it would require an appropriate amount of time to reel it in. Nazi pressed Kraus, asking if there was any way for them to make money before this year's family conference. But Kraus kept saying that he needed just 1 more year. Kraus planned to use his unprecedented success to catapult them into further challenges into the future. Because of this, he didn't want to do anything that would raise suspicions by making it seem like they were rushing to get money. Certainly, fortune tends to turn against people who take it for granted even in the slightest. And anxious beggars never prosper. On many occasions before now, Kraus had gotten cold feet and sold off businesses that would surely have brought in a profit had he just waited, and had, in effect, given away his winning picks. Nazi also knew this. She knew that guts were the thing her husband lacked most. That's why she was unable to refuse when Kraus said he wanted to prudently wait just one more year. She's like, fine, I will give you one more year, but you're on thin ice.
順調でよかったではないか。ということはどうやら私はもうしばらくここで幽霊を続けねばならぬよ。
No, just leave. Go away.
まんざらでもなかろうが、そなたの命などこの世を去ればすぐに悪魔どもに食い尽くされる運命よ。
Okay, fair. I understand.
申し訳ありません、お父様。また今年もお父様にはお休みいただけないかもしれません。
よい、気にするな夏日。後宮家当主はすでに私ではない。書斎の幽霊はおとなしく現在の当主の命令に従うべきだ。クラウスの資料は読ませてもらったが、なかなかに悪くない。
Oh boy.
お父様からご覧になってもですか？わらわから見てもなかなかのものよ。誰もが勝利を確信し、相当の魔力が集中している。その結果、さらに勝利が熱くなり、ますますに人と魔力を集め黄金を生み出そうとしている。錬金術の王道を見事に体現しているぞ。
Gotta love that classic alchemy.
おお、黄金の魔女の太鼓判までつくなら、これは心強い。喜べ夏日。このクラウスの事業は必ずや後宮家の危機を救うだろう。
ありがとうございます。そしてそのためにまた。もう一度親族会議を乗り越えねばならんな。ええ、昨年はうまくやり過ごせたつもりですが、不審に思う親族も現れるでしょう。
Oh, girl, trust me. Seeing the previous chapters, they suspect it like really hard.
今年は正念場になると思います。
去年の親族会議の時、ひょっとしたらもう一度同じことになるかもしれぬと予見したそなたは。
Because she's a smart woman.
最悪のケースを想定するのは魔女ならずとも世渡りの基本だ。それで今年はどうする？
For now, I am a Nazi shill.
去年
I
同
love
様、
this woman.
会議当日はお父様の秘密を知る使用人を集中的に配置します。
Like, she's not the best mom, but like, she's not the best mom to Jessica. Is a little bit restrictive, but she tries, you know.
お父様の不在を気取る親族もすでにいるかもしれません。
Like, she tries her best.
不用意な演出はむしろ馬脚を表す危険性もあります。
Also, people don't take her efforts seriously in the family, and that's always like, no.
過ぎたるは及ばざるがごとしとも言う。なればどうする？
今年は昨年とは逆に最後まで書斎をお出にならないという筋書きでいこうと思います。
Ah,
そ
that
れがよ
explains
かろ
it.
うな。
That explains
同情は
episode
単
1.
純にして最後の切り札だ。
どれほど屋敷が毒素に満ちようとも、この部屋を密室結界に閉ざす限り金蔵の存在を否定することはできぬ。
Ah, now that makes
それはわらわ
sense.
も保証する。
Okay.
だが籠城すれば囲まれるは必至。
She does
承
have a
知してい
point.
ます。それでも何卒もう一度だけお父様とベアトリーチェの力をお貸しください。
私は新しき当主の命令には逆らえぬ。そして幽霊もまた聖者の命令には逆らえぬしな。この部屋から出るなというのであればそれに従おう。
ありがとうございます。わらわは嫌だぞ。
Kinzo being actually nice is kind of weird.
力を貸せと願われても願いごときでは聞いてやれぬ。ええ、あなたは顧問錬金術師ですから貸せと願いません。貸しなさいと命じます。
Okay.
あなたの魔法だけが頼りです。その力でもう一度だけお父様の幻想を。ならばよし、心得たぞ。そなたの貫禄なかなかに心地よし。
I've been liking Natsu's and Beatrice's interactions a lot thus far. Oh no. Ah, from the shadows of the study. Oh, Erasmus, thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoy your stay. From the shadows of the study, Battle watched the exchange between these three.
なるほどな。そして今年の親族会議を迎えるわけだ。じい様は不機嫌だからと書斎に閉じこもり、誰の前にも姿を現さない。
Oh? Natsu spoke boldly about how she would somehow overcome this year's crisis and protect the Shirimiya family's honor until the end. While Kenzo praised her, saying that her plan looked promising, Beato also praised her, saying that Natsu's dignified confidence was even more well-suited for the headship than Krause's. However, right now, the true number of people in this room was... The moment I thought that, no, just because I thought it, Beato grabbed at her chest and moaned. Oh.
安心しろ。ここはゲーム版のまだ外だ。だから俺はそこにいるお前やじい様を否定はしない。
Oh no. Lurking a bit, but game looks interesting. Oh, I 1000% recommend Umineko. It's a visual novel, so it's mostly just consisting of reading. There is a fighting game for it though, like it's called Golden Fantasia, but I don't know if it covers like the story of Umineko. I don't think it does. It's more like bonus content. But Umineko, otherwise, I 1000% recommend. I finished the first half, the question arcs, and they are chef's kiss. Definitely some of my favorite stories like out there ever. Right now I'm in the second half, like the answer arc, so basically I'm over the halfway point. I put my hand on Beato's as she tried to hold back the pain deep inside her chest. I've already told Bernkastel. The 2-day period of the 1986 family conference is all I need to deny the illusion of the witch.
お前は前回全ゲームの開始時にじい様が死んでることを赤で宣言した。しかしゲーム開始以前のじい様の生死については言及していない。
Oh, is he using blue text to protect her?
今この場にじい様が存在していても何の矛盾もないってわけだ。
No. How sweet. My hand touching her let off a faint blue light, which seeped into her chest. That light tenderly wrapped itself around the splinters in Beato's chest. Aww. Chest kiss would be a great emote as well. Oh yes, that's actually a good idea. When I have more slots for emojis, I think chef's kiss will be one I'll make. It reminds me of Higurashi. Fun fact, Erasmus! Umineko is written by the person who wrote Higurashi. So you're not wrong.
そしてこの場にいるベアトリーチェの存在だって否定することはできない。
So I don't know if you have watched Higurashi or like read it or anything, or like either in manga or visual novel format. But if you have seen Sotsu, you might recognize some of the characters that show up here. Like, they're not the same characters, but Ryokishi likes to do, like, Easter egg connections, more or less.
ゲーム版の外、 すなわち1986年10月4日以前の島の人数については赤で宣言されていないんだ。だからここにベアトリーチェが存在しても何もおかしいことはない。
Oh, that makes sense. I'm very glad that it's recognizable as Ryukishi's work. Thus far, I would say I like Umineko even more than Higurashi. Like, I already love Higurashi a lot. Like, it's one of my favorite pieces of media in general. But Umineko is like taking me by the throat. Beata's expression softened slightly. My blue light slowly began to melt the red splinters that denied the illusion of the witch. Aww. Beata still wore the same sad expression, but she lifted her face and looked me straight in the eye. Though she was silent, her eyes told me that her pain had subsided. The feelings that showed in her eyes were gratitude for taking the pain away, and appreciation? Or was it surprise? For leaving even a tiny bit of leeway for witches to exist. I watched the anime till season 3 or 4, still missing on Sotsu if I recall, but putting it higher on my watch list now. Actually, never mind. Do not watch Sotsu. Sotsu is garbage. Sotsu is kind of bad. I mean, you can watch it and then you can like take those concepts, but don't have any high hopes because Sotsu kinda dropped the ball hard. It has cool scenes and cool concepts, it's just that the execution wasn't so good. I can recommend the counterpart manga for Sotsu, which is Higurashi Meguri, which I have heard from people that the Go manga, then going to Meguri, kind of fleshes out some of the arcs better. Feel free to watch Go and Sotsu regardless, because I still feel like it's worth watching. Before getting into the manga version. I personally didn't like Sotsu at all because I feel like it dropped the ball way too hard. But Go is enjoyable. I enjoyed it. Also, I wouldn't, even though I didn't like Sotsu very much, I would say that it's not worthless. Like I said, cool concepts, cool ideas. It's just that Passione dropped the ball a little bit with the script, which I hope the manga fleshes out better. Preferably, I would prefer a Sotsu like visual novel, because then we can have like what was missing from the anime for me, which was like build up and development and inner thoughts from the characters, which we are getting in the manga, so it's nice. Okay, sorry for the ramble about Higurashi Sotsu. Let me continue. Unable to look directly at those pure eyes of hers, I reflexively averted my gaze.
誤解すんなよ。魔女の存在を認めたり、あるいは屈したつもりもね。
Also, wait, hold on, I just realized I got a new follow. PLX Studio, thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay. Sorry, I was ranting about Sotsu, so I was like, okay, I'll welcome them soon. But yeah, I hope you enjoy your stay. We'll see. Wait.
俺はお前とのゲームに勝つために、その部分だけに徹してストイックに戦いたいってわけだぜ。ゲーム版の外でまで嫌がらせをするほど趣味は悪くねえからな。
Beato hung her head. I was still facing away from her. I already waited wordlessly for a while, my hand still on hers. By now, no one would believe that this sad-eyed woman was the same person as that prideful Beato. So I asked once more. Even though I said it aloud, it wasn't a question to her. I was asking myself.
お前は一体何を考えていたんだ?
By the way, on the tips for Higurashi and Umineko, the Higurashi anime, I feel like it is a solid adaptation. Sure, the manga and the visual novel are even better because they go even deeper, and the anime had to cut out a vital story part out for two characters, Shion and Mion to be specific. There's like a way deeper aspect to their conflict that the anime sadly couldn't go into. But the anime otherwise is solid. Now for Umineko, do not watch the anime. The anime I watched was my first exposure to Umineko. I watched the first arc and was like, this isn't good. This isn't a good adaptation. So then I started reading the visual novel and I was like, this shit is it's the best. I want to eat it. It's so good. But if you prefer not to read visual novels because it's a big time investment, then I can recommend the manga instead. I have read it through. I've only read parts of arcs that are already finished. And from what I see, they are very, very extremely solid adaptations. And they are not as long-winded. So that's the tip that I'll give.
そうさ。俺はラムダデルタのゲームを通じてでも、お前を探さなくちゃならない。お前が何を考え、何をしようとしていたのかもな。
Very soon, this game will also reach October 4th, 1986. The fifth game will finally begin. And this time, I'll reach the end. The end of that journey.
殺人がとか、トリックがとか、お前が、黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが、何を考え何のためにそうしたのか、何を望んでいたのか、それを、たどる。
I have a very big suspicion this has something to do with the Battler's sin. Because it is the reason she's doing the game, so I want to know. That's right. I already know how I can reach the end of that journey. It's been made clear to me since the very beginning.
今こそチェス盤をひっくり返そう。
Hey Yuppie, can't stay for too long because I've gotten classes in a few minutes. Just popped in to say hi and confirm that you have indeed acquired new drip. Oh, thanks, Kristen! Thank you! Best of luck with your classes in a few minutes. Thank you for dropping by as well, for just to say that. I really appreciate that.
この物語を俺側からじゃなく、お前側からの目線で物語を紐解く。そして今度こそお前を理解しよう。そしてお前の心臓にたどり着く。
I wanna know.
痛みなんか感じさせない。
I wanna know, Battler.
安心しろ。あの魔女どものおもちゃになどもうこれ以上させないからな。
I really appreciate how Battler has taken protective side to Beato. That's so nice. Beato looked up at me again and gave a small nod. That's right. The position of Game Master might have been snatched up by Lambda Delta. However, as long as I continue this contest with the intent of fighting against Beato, our fight will continue no matter who controls the game board. Very soon the curtain will rise on our game.
今年の親族会議でも親方様の秘密を隠さねばならん。
Oh, are we going there?
はい、心得ております。
同じ手がもう一度通じるか疑問だな。
奥様も同じご懸念を持たれている。そのため今年は書斎から一切お出にならない方向で行くことになった。
つまりずっと書斎にこもられていることにするというわけですか？
Yeah. I will do some research, but really appreciating the info. An audiobook would be great, but suppose there aren't any? I don't know. I do know Higurashi did have audiobooks, like drama CDs, but they were in Japanese, right? Now Umineko, I don't know. The most you can do as an audiobook is maybe you can hear someone reading through Umineko. But maybe you can. I'm currently using a mod to replicate the PS3 console port, which includes voice acting, different sprites, and whatnot, to look like it's actually the console port, right? It's not 100% authentic to the console port, but it's the closest thing I could get. However, the normal actual Steam release, which I have bought, I just have put the cosmetic mod on top. Has no voice acting at all, so maybe you can find people reading through Umineko, no commentary whatsoever, just reading through it, reading everyone's lines, so you have everything in English. That's possibly the closest I could suggest for audiobook, but if anybody knows like an Umineko audiobook of sorts, please drop it down the comment below or on the chat.
そして書斎に入ることが許されているのは我ら3人片翼の翼を許された使用人だけだ。
ということは僕たち3人で親方様の嘘を突き通さなくちゃならないわけか。
The three of you?
そうだ、親族の方々は親方様の具合や機嫌などを問い詰めてくるだろう。よどみなく答え、不審に思われることがなきよう注意するように。
Oof, time to learn better Japanese. Well, that's an option. I should actually take Japanese classes again. I finished beginner course many years ago,
心得ました。
but I forgot most of it.
姉さんはすぐドジるからな。むしろ当日は風邪か何か理由をつけて欠席した方がいいんじゃない？
そんなひどい。
Kanon wasn't just making fun of her. He only wanted to release Shannon from the burden of working this most serious of days. Actually,
源氏様、
this reminds me of
シャノ
something.
ンがシフトに入る必要はないのでは。
I think there was someone making a project to like dub Umineko, like the visual novel, but I'm not sure if that project is still active.
僕たちだけで十分やれます。
And I don't know if it's like a mod or like a video series of sorts, but I'll look it up.
それはできる。奥様から我ら3人は必ずシフトに入るようにとの言命だ。
はい、やり遂げる覚悟です。
Yes, Shannon, I believe in you. I love you. My
譲り
baby.
ません。
She's my daughter. I love her. Shannon grew sullen and Kanon shrugged. The Kenji told them that they weren't taking this seriously enough.
シャノン、カノン、すでにお仕えする親方様はお亡くなりになっている。しかし本当の意味でお亡くなりになるまで我らの奉仕は続く。あの書斎は無人ではない。今なお親方様がおられ、それを深く心得よ。
Alright.
はい、源氏様。
I love how Kanon was like, oh, yeah, fine. While Shannon was like, she's determined. I trust her. Oh, we're back here in this cafe, huh?
お父
Eva!
様がすでに亡くなっている。
Who told you?
そんなバカな。
まあま
Ah, Hideyoshi.
あ例えの話や。武田信玄はその死を3年の間秘密にするよう遺言したっちゅう有名な故事があるやろ。
Oh,
知らん
they're
か？
catching on.
そんな話もあったかしら。
I like how it's Hideyoshi who brings up this
日
thought.
本史はよくわかんないわ。
当時武田は織田や徳川との戦の真っ最中だった。
Oh, it's that far
そこ
back.
で
This is
信玄が
cool.
死んだなんて話になったら戦況に悪影響が出るやろ。そやから自分の死を3年隠すように遺言したんや。秀吉かてそうやで。主君織田信長の死を敵方に知られんように徹底的に情報規制を行い、素早く毛利と和解して中国大返しを行い明智を討ったんやないか。一方の柴田勝家はそこで失敗したんや。
The enemy Uesugi learned of Nobuyuki's death, so Shibata had to deal with an unexpected counterattack and got slowed
その
down.
後の秀吉との後継者争いで大きく遅れを取ることになったんや。
That sounds cool, actually. Hideyoshi, who had a strong fascinations with the commanders of the Sengoku period, would always show off his knowledge when he got the chance. Wincing slightly, Eva made him get back to his point.
早い話が、わしは去年の親族会議から
Man, I love Eva.
ずっと違和感をとったんや。
あれは私やルドルフが遺産の話をしてたのを廊下のお父様に聞かれてしまって、それで。
そこや。夏井さんや使用人たちはどこそこにお父さんがいた。不機嫌わしら親族は誰一人お父さんを見てないんやで。
Oh,
もしあなたの想像が本当ならどういうこと？兄さんが遺産の独り占めを狙ってるということ？
もちろん死んだことを隠すなんてかなり危険なことや。果たして遺産を独り占めするためだけにそれだけのことをクラウスさんがやってのけるのか、わしも確信は持てん。
Oh, Hideo should be like, there's some deep shit in
だが
here.
可能性はある。
確かに兄さんは昔から強欲よ。兄弟全員でと受け取ったものを着服するなんてよくあることだったわ。
クラウスさんはわしら兄弟の中では一番裕福なはずや。そんなクラウスさんがお父さんの死を隠すなんて危険を冒してまで遺産の独り占めを目論むとは、わしにはちょいと信じられんのだがな。だがそう疑いたくなるくらい去年の親族会議はおかしかったんやで。
Eva and the others were painfully aware of how reckless it would be to try and see Kinzo when he was in a bad mood. So during last year's family conference, once they heard about Kinzo getting into a terrible mood, they never made an attempt to contact him. That was why, to this very day, they hadn't found it suspicious that Kinzo had never appeared.
確かに疑ってみる価値はあるわね。でも本当に兄さんがお父様の死を隠すなんて大それたことをするかしら。傲慢なくせにおかしなところで小心な人よ。そんな一世一代の大博打を本当にするかしら。
Well,
いずれにせよ今年の会議ではきっちりお父さんのご尊願を拝謁した方がええやろな。
oh, so that's how they hatched that plan in episode 3, huh? Or was it 4? It wasn't 4, right?
非常に良くない噂さ。
お
どうやら兄貴の事業は俺たちの想像を超えて手ひどく失敗してるらしい。相当の損失を抱えてて表向きを取り繕うだけで精一杯らしい。
つまりクラウスさんからお金を借りるのはとても難しいことというわけね。
ああ、泣けてくれ。
do you really want to like take money from Kraus of all people, Rudolph? Alright, I've got some info now. There is a Kickstarter campaign, but it's delayed because of health reasons. But when it releases, I'll try it. Okay, that's nice that it's still going.
クラウスさんにとって
Maybe
経
I'll
済的
invest in
に
it a
困
little
窮してい
bit
る
as
ことは
well.
ある種の弱みにはならないの？
弱みそりゃ投資家は超えてるから投資家なんだぜ。実は金欠だなんてことになったら誰も見向きもしねえ。
信用第一の世界なのね。
Kiria smiled thinly. Rudolph was taken aback by that smile. Yes, fishy aroma! I love this track. He figured that his plan, which involved raising money to get him out of his current mess by borrowing from the affluent Klaus, would all come to nothing now that they knew Klaus himself was in financial trouble.
クラウスさんの信用はクラウスさんのこれからのお仕事に必要だろうけれど、私たちのこれからには必要ないわ。
兄貴をゆするってのか。
私だったら嫌よ。血のつながった兄弟を貶めるなんて。
Oh, Kirie. Oh boy, your sister will disagree. Rudolph felt a shiver go up his spine at Kirie's cold smile. Man, I love Kirie so much. At times, Kirie was able to throw away all compassion and think in an extremely ruthless manner. Whenever he saw that, Rudolph knew he'd never like to have her as his enemy.
他に金策があるなら、お兄さんを脅迫なんてしたくないものだよ。
But now you can really see the Sumeragi, like the Sumeragi Kirie that was raised, right? In the family that she was. That's really
だ
nice.
ったら悩んだりしね
選択の余地のない問題で悩むのは人生の無駄だと思うわ。
I also love that Kirie is such a girl boss. Rudolph stopped talking, folded his arms and lowered his gaze. He still felt some of the terror he'd experienced thanks to Klaus's violence when they were young. Oh boy, yeah, right, that was a thing. And now that the same Klaus was the one he needed to threaten, Rudolph was also fighting against his childhood trauma. So to give her husband a little push, Kirie smiled reassuringly and perhaps coldly.
つくづく信用で仕事をしたくないものだわ。信用ほど積み上げるのに苦労して失う時が一瞬なんて割の合わない投資はない。
Sorry, I was adjusting.
そうだな。世の中100の信用より1枚の診察だ。
Oh shit!
クラウスさんが大きな損失を出していると言っても、私たちの急場をしのぐためのお金くらいは十分用意できるはず。もちろんクラウスさんのこれまでの信用を換金してお金を作ってもらうことになるけれど。
こいつはやばい話になる。
Man, Kirie is going in for the kill.
十分な備えが必要よ。私たちには時間も失敗も許されてない。そうだったのね。私の京都の友人たちにそういうのを洗うのが上手な人たちがいるわ。あまり世話になりたくない連中なんだけど、一度会ってもらってもいい？領収書は切れないけど、きっと投資に見合うだけのものを調べ上げてくれるわ。
Are we getting some sus people in here?
ええ、マリアも元気よ。
Oh.
そちらは大きなお世話よ。ありがとう。え？さあ、スケジュールを見てみないとわからないけど。
Whoever's on the phone. Okay, Rosa was talking to Rudolph over the phone. Yeah, okay, I was wondering why she was in such a bad mood. Rosa rarely received calls from her older siblings, so she braced herself for something serious.
実はな、次の親族会議についてちょいと兄貴抜きで意見を調整したいんだ。
エヴァ姉さんとルドルフ兄さんと私の3人で頭痛の増えそうな話ね。
電話じゃ詳しくは話せない。だがお前にとって聞く価値のある話のはずだ。
それはいい話？
もちろん姉貴は乗り気だぜ。
姉さんが？
You know something I noticed in this phone conversation? Rosa tends to be, or like with Rosa and Eva in episode 3. See, when Rosa is against all her siblings, she tends to be more subdued, more meek. Like, more traumatized, I guess. While when it's one-on-one, with both Eva and Rudolph, she is far more like... She's a little bit more firm. Her voice actress does a really good job at showing this. Like, compliments to her voice actress.
金を出せとか、そういう俺たち3人が全員結束してることがまず大事なんだ。わかるな。
Also, like, Rosa's tone changes very quickly when it's about Maria as well, so that's also a thing that that her voice actress gets across well. Rosa let out a sigh. She did so because in the past, when Rudolph and Eva got into a fight with Klaus, they always used to talk to her like this right before dragging her into it.
先に教えて。その話は私も得をする話よね。
ああ、俺たち3人で2億ずつせしめる。うまくいけばそれ以上も引っ張れるかもしれない。お前の借金、それでチャラだろ。
それはいつまでにせしめられるの？
もちろん年度内だ。俺も助かる。姉貴も助かる。そしてローザも助かるってわけだ。三方丸く収まる。
姉さんが話に乗るくらいには勝算があるのね。
話を聞く気になったか？ちょいと急だが、次の日曜日の19時に銀座のお前のお気に入りの喫茶店で会おう。
Is it the same where Maria got Saktaro from?
問題ないか
？2億捻出できる話なら聞かないわけにはいかないわ。では次の日曜日の午後7時にレオポルドで。
Yeah, I think that is it. Maria?
連れてきてもいいんだぜ。
あの子の前でお金の話はやめて。
She set the receiver down with a clunk a little violently. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Her tone changes extremely quickly when it's about Maria. Apparently, either Eva or Rudolph had gotten a hold of one of Klaus's weak points. They would probably threaten him with that at the next family conference and force him to pay up. Even before hearing the details, she knew full well that it would be nothing good. But even so, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to pay back her large debts. Rosa took a notebook out of her handbag and started to mark the day she'd be meeting with Rudolph and Eva. Then she frowned and smacked herself hard on the forehead, because written there was DZL with Maria, something she had planned to do with her daughter. No! Oh no! This sucks. Maria was in her room, playing around excitedly with Sakutaro and the others. That was because she was going to go to that recently built amusement park, Disneyland, and the following Sunday. Looking at the clock, Rosa saw that it was just past 9 at night. Maria was breaking the lights out rule. After covering her face and agonizing for a while, Rosa stood up and stomped over to Maria's room. Oh no, I don't want to see this. The room would probably be a mess as well. At least tonight that was convenient. As she stood outside the door to Maria's room, listening to the happy laughter seeping through, Rosa's face twisted in anguish once again, and she looked at the floor. Ugh. Then when she raised her head again, her brow was furrowed, and her face had become an ugly expression of anger. Oh no. No. Please don't make me see that. Maria does talk about her breaking the promise to Disneyland specifically in episode 4, I believe. Man, this sucks! The weather wasn't that great. According to the weekend forecast, a certain tropical cyclone would likely grow into a large typhoon. If unhappy premonitions tend to be right, this year's family conference will probably take place in absolutely horrible weather. No, I wish a typhoon large enough to stop all boat travels would seal Rokkenjima away forever. Oh man, Natsu, be careful what you wish for. If that happened, I'd be able to hide Kinzo's death as long as I wanted. Be careful what you wish for! Natsu let out a deep sigh. Just doing that made her headache throb. As the day of the family conference approached, the intensity of her headache just kept on increasing. Man. At that time, the phone rang. Natsu turned the TV off and picked up the receiver. Hi.
お休みのところ申し訳ございません。源氏でございます。
何事ですか？
奥様に外線からお電話でございます。
Okay.
ですが、名前をお名乗りになられません。
Uh-oh.
名乗らない？
はい。先方は話せばわかるとは申しておりますが、いかがしますか？いたずらかもしれません。
どんな相手です？
おそらく若い男性ではないか。
A young man.
お心当たりはございませんか？
若い男性。
Natsu didn't have a clue who that might be. In the first place, there was no one amongst her acquaintances who would do something as rude as refusing to state their name. And on top of that, a young man? As a wife, she must avoid any contact that might be considered suspicious with anyone other than her husband, much less a young man. As soon as she thought this, the phone call suddenly seemed like something dirty. But despite that, she also wanted to know what they wanted to tell her. Could it be some kind of trouble related to Kraus's business? What if there was some particular reason they needed to talk to Kraus's wife instead of Kraus directly? No matter what it is, it's my duty as a wife to listen and report to Kraus. If it's some bizarre threat, I just have to firmly refuse and inform Kraus that I received such a phone call. If it's something offensive, I just have to tell Genji to never send me anonymous calls again. As Natsu thought this, just as Genji was suggesting that he hang up on the man as though that's what she'd naturally choose, she told him to connect her to this person. She then set the receiver down. After a short while, the phone rang again. Who is it? This wasn't the internal line. It was the external phone line, which Genji had redirected to her. So it already had been connected directly with the mysterious man. However, the person on the other end didn't respond. Not liking this at all, Natsu spoke one more time, sounding displeased.
もしもし、誰ですか？名を名乗りなさい。
Oh? She heard something that sounded like a sigh. She gulped reflexively. After remaining silent for a little longer, the man finally answered. Whom? Wait, that was the first time that the man had spoken. Have I heard this voice before?
何の話です？あなたは誰ですか？
The voice certainly did sound like a young man's, but it's hard to learn much about someone just by their voice over the phone. It sounded like a young man, but it might actually be a middle school-aged boy. Or a man in his prime who still had a youngish voice. Is it Battler? No wait, it might be too soon to be sure this is even a male. However, even one thing was certain. Natsu could think of no one who could speak to her in an overly familiar manner like this.
俺が誰かを名乗るのは簡単さ。だが、それでは俺があまりに悲しい。
Is that?
何を言っているのか分かりかねます。あなたは誰ですか？そして私に何の用ですか？それが言えないなら興味はありません。切りますよ。
俺の望みはあんたに思い出してもらうことだ。
For you to remember.
何を思い出せというのですか？あなたなど知りませんし、思い出すような心当たりもありません。
そんなこと言うなよ。俺はあんたの子供じゃないか。
What?
何ですって？あなたは
What?
そんな悲しいことを言うなよ。
This is a new theme, by the way. Humst? That unsettling word thrust itself mercilessly into the depths of Natsu's heart and started churning it about. In her entire life, Natsu had never been told something so unsettling. In her bewilderment, Natsu felt her heart beat so loudly that it felt like it would explode.
あなたに母と呼ばれる覚えはありません。何のつもりか知りませんが、もう切りますよ。
俺は復讐するために帰ってきたんだ。
Who?
あんた19年前の罪。
Natsu's mind went blank. Whom? And from beyond the window howling outside the window, she most certainly heard the roar from the sea. Sorry, heard the roar of the sea from that day. That's not Battler. That doesn't sound like him.
何の話かわからないと言っています。もう二度とかけないでください。
19 years ago.
だからあんたを呪うためにあえてそれでも。いや、だからこそもうすぐ親族会議じゃないか。俺も母さんの子供だからね。会議の日に帰るよ。19年ぶりに。あんたに復讐するために。
Whom? I mean, the voice did sound a bit similar to Battler's, but it's definitely not Battler. It just can't be. Breathing so hard her shoulders heaved, Natsu slammed the receiver down and hung up. Then she hit the phone violently, knocking the receiver off, so that no more calls would come through it. Oh, this is a new sprite. I can hear the roar of the sea. That voice I hear from beyond the howling wind is certainly... Even if I cover my ears, the headache won't. Completely pale, Natsu kept shivering as though cold. What?
ラムダ、いる？ええ、いるわよ。ベルンが望めばどこにでも。
Explain.
じゃあ台所の床下収納に入ってて。ぬかみその壺の中でもいいわ。
By the way, Lorasma, since you watched Higurashi, you might recognize one of these girls.
ああ、私をミザにつけてかじってくれるの？
I mean...
でもそれなら蜂蜜につけてほしいものだわ。お返しにベルンは砂糖水で煮込んであげる。せめて砂糖醤油とみりんにして。それで何？復 償要求でも気取っちゃう？
そうよ。この夏日の電話のやり取りは事実？
Lambda grinned unpleasantly, as though sizing Bernkastel up. She was probably trying to tease Bern for making that demand.
復唱拒否？
さーてね、拒否か応じるかどうしよっかな。それを決めるのはゲームマスターの私の自由だし、その判断をいつするかさえ自由。
青字宣言でない限り、あんたに答える義務はないしね。
Oh, and Laura is fine, by the way. Okay, then I'll stick with Laura. I'll keep that in mind.
そういうこと。
So tell me, Lambda, what's up?
夏日の19年前に一体どんな秘密がと、ワクワクテカテカしてなさい。
Of course, this fishy telephone call happened before October 4th, 1986. This is still before the start time of the game. So there's basically no need to question whether it's true or false.
ゲームマスターのあんたがわざわざ見せた以上、何かの布石だと思っとくわ。騙しかもしれないけれど、一応あんたのこの指し手は記憶に留めておく。
このカードを伏せたまま場に出すってやつね。まあ、いた。何？
ダイレクトアタック。
Direct attack? After suddenly being conked on the head, Rambo Delta was bewildered. But perhaps this incomprehensible exchange was funny to her, because she quickly went back to giggling.
これであんたのゲーム版の準備は十分？
ええ、そうよ。それじゃあいよいよゲームを進めるわよ。1986年10月4日にね。
何度目の1986年10月4日かしらね。無限の魔女か、ベアトリーチェ。やはり恐ろしい子だわ。
Oh
ベルトは
boy.
何か行動ある？
ないわよ。
No?
あんたが復唱要求に応えないなら、それで終わり。
ターンエイトね。スタート。クリーンアップ。ドロー。さあ来たれ。1986年10月4日。
They just want to speed run up to the actual timeline, huh? Yep, we know those two. Are they connected or Sorry was AFK for a bit? That's okay. Okay, so like I said, Ryokishi likes to make Easter egg-like connections between his work, so between Higurashi, Umineko, and Kikonia. But he never like outright confirms it, so it's always like up to interpretation of what you think, if the universes are connected or if it's just merely Easter eggs. I personally choose to see like the whole When They Cry franchise as this connected multiverse. So I like to think that Higurashi is a fraction connected to Umineko. Like not direct sequels or anything, or like directly the same characters, but my theory or my personal interpretation that I go with is that Bernkastel gets actually name dropped in Higurashi, right? In Rei, in Saikoroshi Hen, right? So, and in the manga, I think she even gets shown, like personally, not in this same design, but it's basically just Rika, but more evil. I think she shows up in the end of the anime as well, like Kai as like an older Rika. But she was supposed to be Frederica Bernkastel there. And my personal interpretation of the Bernkastel we see in Umineko, since it's kind of like hinted that she comes from like centuries of torment, my thought is similar to one of my closest friends who also likes the When They Cry franchise, and that is that Bernkastel is an amalgamation of all the Rikas that didn't make it through the failed timelines in Higurashi, basically. Like the detached version of Rika who's unfeeling and sees everyone as beneath her, basically, who never got to have a happy end, who always had to die, who always was treated with cruelty. And now detached herself in such a way that she's just this. But I don't consider them the same character 100%. I see Rika as Rika and Bernkastel as Bernkastel. I just like to see just a little meta connection of sorts, basically. That's how I see it. With Lamba Delta, I don't know. After, before I thought she was like a witch version of Takano, but after seeing Sotsu, I'm having different thoughts. Oh, there is a third series. I could really imagine at least Rika being Rika. The third series is Rei. Higurashi Rei is like an OVA series, and it goes over Saikoroshi Hen. And Saikoroshi Hen is basically the epilogue of Higurashi after Matsuri Bayashi. Basically, you have like the ending, the finale in season 2, in Kai. And then you have Saikoroshi Hen, which is basically what happens after. How does Rika adjust after beating her fate, basically, right? And it's actually a really good arc. Like, it's an amazing epilogue for Higurashi. But then Ryokishi was like, I want to explore Higurashi further beyond this point, and that's where Go and Sotsu comes in. The other animes of Higurashi I have not watched because they are basically just filler. Like, fan service filler, and I'm not really into that. But I have heard one arc in one of the extra Higurashi animes is worth it, which is centered around Hanyo, and I'm kind of curious to see it. Oh, that sounds sad, but very much possible. I think it's a possibility. Like I said, Ryukishi never confirms these connections, so basically he leaves it up for the reader. So if you want to see Burn from Higurashi and Burn from Umineko as like the same character, or like a metaverse connection, or merely Easter eggs, Ryukishi doesn't say like this version is correct and this isn't. He's like, choose the version you prefer. Basically, choose the interpretation that works for you.
6年前よりさらにすごくなってやがる。こんなのが似合わなんて羨ましいぜ。
んなことはねえぜ。私にとっちゃ船着き場まで遠くて邪魔なだけなんだけどな。
それは贅沢な悩みだね。
Oh, also Laura, there are more characters in Umineko who are basically Easter eggs or copy pastes from Higurashi characters, so I'm like, how deeply is this connected? What's it? It's like Ryokishi just playing me, or is he actually trying to tell me something? But I won't spoil whom, so I'll leave it as a surprise. Also, Maria and Eva both share voice actresses with characters who are in Higurashi. So Maria's voice actress is the same as Hanyu, and Eva's voice actress is the same as Takano, who I also found out the other day is also the voice actress for Android 18 and Dragon Ball, and Maria is also the same. It's also like her voice actress voices also Jan in Shaman King. I'm like, what? Oh no? I love Maria with every fiber of my being, by the way. I adore her very much. She's kind of a deeply relatable character to me, at least how I interpret her. Which is funny because I'm almost 2 decades older than her. Man, battler.
そうだよな。女の子のお尻からはマシュマロが出るんだもんな。
Ew! That's not a good interpretation either.
マシュマロが水飴になっちまったわけだ。
Battler.
それはさすがに。
I mean, I know everybody shits, but come on.
下品が過ぎるね。
Yes, deserved. George and Jessica slam the knee and the fist right into the other side of Butler's gut. Whack! Smack thud. The smack thud was probably the sound made when his knees hit the ground as he fell over. Normally, Butler possessed the good sense you'd expect of an 80-year-old man. However, it seemed that this reunion had brought him back to the mental age he'd been 60 years ago. And bit by bit, Jessica and George realized that they were also returning to the way they'd been bred back then. Oh man. Nazi gazed at this charming chat through an open window. I like how the text is like, charming? Question mark?
奥様、旦那様がお探しです。
Love the background music, by the way. The background music in Umineko is also Chef's Kiss, by the way. Amazing soundtrack.
もう少ししたら行きます。まだお昼にもなっていないのに。
It's more or less the reason why I'm like, if you are willing to read or like hear someone read it, do it, because the soundtrack is amazing. So one of my favorite soundtracks, like soundtrack libraries. Also, the voice acting is very good. Just a few moments ago, the sparks had already started flying between them and Eva's group. The others had pounded on Kraus and Nazi over and over to get Kinzo out of his study. Apparently, they hadn't been fully tricked at last year's family conference after all.
お父様は問題ありませんね。
はい、お任せを。シャノンとカノンも今日の段取りを十分に心得ております。
熊沢は嘘をつくのが上手なようですから心配しませんが、南條先生が少し心配です。隠し事が苦手そうでおられますから。
You wouldn't be wrong.
お任せを。可能な限り私が南條先生のお近くで補佐するつもりです。
I think what got me into the series initially was the song Dear You. Oh, Dear You is such a great song. Also, which version?
あなたがいてくれるなら頼もしいですね。
Fun fact, I actually used to be able to play Dear You on piano. I'm not sure if I still can, but I feel like with a little bit of practice I could play it again, like the same song.
本当に助かります。現地の力なくして成し得ないことです。
恐縮でございます。
安心せよ。書斎の密室結界は完璧だ。結界を破らぬ限り誰にも金蔵の秘密を暴くことなどできん。
ええ、分かっています。しかしあなたも先ほどの客までのやりとりを聞いていたでしょう。
The Version im Spiegel one. Ah, Visionen im Spiegel is very good. I think that's one of the best versions of Dear You.
やはり去年の時点で相当の不信感を持たれていたのであろうな。凄まじき毒素を溜め込み振りまいておるわ。
やはり今年が正念場になりそうですね。
今年を何とか乗り越えることはできようが、仏の顔も何とやら。
I think it's Visionen im Spiegel, like yeah, I think it's that.
さすがに来年は無理と心得た方がよかろうな。
I speak German, so it basically means visions in the mirror. That's what a Visionen im Spiegel means.
これほどまでに反魔法の毒素が満ちては。
Yes! There he is! It's the man!
来年の親族会議でもゴールドスミス教の魔法を維持するのは難しいでしょ
う。誰ですかあなたは。
My husband! That's who he is!
ああ、驚かずともよい。わらわの家具頭を務める男だ。
はじめまして、夏日奥様、ロノウェと申します。
Yes, hello.
どうぞお見知りおきを。
頼れる男だ。この男にも密室結界を守ってもらう。
I adore this fan so much.
そうですか。
I also love Beato very much. I am a thirster for both. For both of them.
後宮夏日です。あなたにも協力をお願いします。
はい、奥様。魔法世界からお手伝いをさせていただきます。どうかお任せを。
Yes, please show up so much more in this episode. I will die.
ついでだから私も紹介してもらおうかしら。
The full thirsting squad is here.
はい、リーチェ。ご無沙汰。ガープか。そなたまで来てくれるとは心強い。遊びに来ただけのつもりだったんだけどね。手がいるようだったら声をかけて。
I love Gap very much as well.
まだ挨拶するのは初めてだけど、私はいつだって誰のそばにでもいるわ。
こちらのガープはなかなかのいたずら者。先日奥様が自室にてお召しになろうとして床に落とし見つけられなかった頭痛薬ガープの仕業でございますよ。
Don't poke me, I'm innocent. I'm doing nothing wrong. It's not my fault that there are 3 beautiful people standing next to each other, especially the middle one. But especially the right one as well.
わらわも昔随分とからかわれたものだ。
そうですか。いずれにせよ、ここは後宮の屋敷です。当家にいる間は当家に従っていただきます。よろしいですね。
もちろんです。心得ております。魔法世界での源氏と思い、どうぞいつでもご用命ください。
私にも客人の心得はあるつもりよ。家主の顔は潰さないわ。ロノウェもガープも頼れるぞ。しかし魔法の世界と人間の世界は表裏一
体。分かってます。もちろん私も人間の世界から努力します。力を合わせてお父様の秘密を守りましょう。
うん。
Oh my god.
いつもの展開だな。どうせ翌日にならなきゃ話は進まねえ。
Nope.
そうね。
Oh, my cat's here.
10月4日は私にとっての準備ターンみたいなものだし。
Let me blend in my cat since she's here. There. That's my little demon cat.
バトラに何もする気がないのにな。10月5日までのんびりしててくれていいのよ。ステファスネファ。6人死んだら呼んであげる。
Of course, that was an incredibly irritating way to put it. The fight won't start until the crime occurs. However, waiting for the crimes to start would mean turning a blind eye towards the murders of the first Twilight. In other words, it would be the same as being content with the fact that 6 people would die. Oh, cute. Thank you.
知ってる？チェスの先手と後手では
I can't show her moving because the drawing is all I have, but she's here, cuddling up to me. Baby! You good baby! And she's sniffing the microphone. Did you know they sat in that chest? Okay.
戦術の進歩でだいぶ変わるけどね。後手はドローを狙えれば上々とか言われてるんだっけ？
先手必勝くらい俺も知ってるぜ。ならどうしろってんだ。
First hit wins.
そんなだからあんたは無能なのよ。
本当にいい？バトラー、10月4日にだって解くことができる謎は存在するわ。何が解けるかわかる？
まさか。あ、いや、しかし
まあ見てなさい。無能のバトラ
ー。Yes, Batter the incompetent. I I have a general idea what these witches are talking about. I've tried solving it several times myself in the past, but I still haven't found anything resembling an answer. On the contrary, I still can't even understand why that puzzle exists. Is it the number of people? That's right. The reason it exists. Why did Beato prepare a puzzle like this in the first place? We all discussed it together from time to time in past games. However, I started to avoid thinking about it, under the assumption that there's no point in trying to solve a riddle that can't be solved. This time I should change my viewpoint. I shouldn't just focus on the surface level stuff, like the truth of the riddle and how to solve it. What's more important is why that riddle was set up in the first place and displayed for us to see. That's what I should be thinking about. And the one proposing that riddle is Beatrice. Even I can't solve it, I should be able to try and figure out what Beata was thinking when she showed it to us. Okay, this time I'm spinning the chessboard around. The witches keep talking and calling me incompetent. Let them laugh. They aren't my enemies. And continuing our match. Beato. Oh, and now the kitty has gotten down. Whoop.
お、とうとう降り始めたようやな。
やれやれ、土砂降りは心の中だけにしたかったもんだぜ。
The people in the parlor noticed the raindrops that were starting to drip down the window.
これで親族会議が終わるまで私たちには逃げ場なしってわけね。それは兄さんたちだって同じよ。逃がさないわ、絶対に。こっちのカードは悪くないのよ。兄さんは虚勢を張ってるだけだわ。絶対に屈服させてみせる。
取引っちゅうんはな、相手を任すもんとちゃうで。落としどころを用意しておいて、相手に花を持たせて自らに座らせるもんなんや。
秀吉さんの言う通りだわ。さっきの話もちょっと追い詰めすぎよ、エヴァ姉さん。兄さんにはあれくらいでちょうどいいわよ。
なんだ、ローザは寝ちまったのか？
朝が早かったとぼやいとったな。ま、昼寝もええんとちゃうか。
Yes, let her rest, I guess.
下手すりゃ今夜は徹夜だ。今から仮眠も賢いかもな。
Yep, nap, just nap. Out of consideration of Rosa, who'd fallen asleep on the sofa, the others quietly left the parlor. Okay. Unaware of this, Rosa slept. After telling Maria just to stay where she was after that tantrum over not being able to find her... I hate that scene. Rosa slept unaware that the rain had started to fall. Gosh, I hate that scene with Rosa and the rose. It hurts deeply. No, Maria. No. The rain poured down as though it had been saving up for this moment. Maria noticed that the rain had started falling and was soaking her to the bone. Sorry. However, that just made her even more stubborn. Unable to find the poor, slightly unhealthy rose that she herself had marked, she just couldn't stand having that search be interrupted by something like the rain. So the more the rain fell on Maria, the more stubborn she grew, as she wandered through the rose beds. And as she did, from behind Maria's back came a patter, patter, patter. The sound of approaching footsteps. Uh-oh. Don't hurt Maria. Then the footsteps landed in the puddle, making a small splashing sound, and Maria finally heard. However, even the slight distraction of that sound irritated her, and Maria ignored it.
Konnichiwa.
Oh! Who? I recognize that voice. Maria turned around, bewildered. After all, that voice was one she didn't recognize at all, but I do! On the sealed off Rokijima, that voice belonged to no person she knew. Or, you are not alone.
旦那様、奥様。
Or maybe do I know them?
探しました。
Klaus-sama, madame. Okay.
大変でございます。
Klaus and Natsu had been privately discussing what should be done next in a deserted corridor on the third floor. Genji had searched everywhere for them.
どうしたのかね。シーツを雨に濡らした程度ではそこまで慌てることでもないと思うがね。
何事です。何か粗相でも。
海難事故で漂流されたと申す方が先ほどお屋敷にいらっしゃられました。
What? Klaus and Natsu couldn't help but go wide-eyed and stare at each other. This was the first time they'd ever heard of someone coming to this island uninvited.
漂流?
Don't tell me there are
それ
80 people
は本
after
当
all.
かね。気の毒に来客として丁重に扱いたまえ。今はどうしているのかね。
南條先生が診察しております。
Okay.
まだ診察中ですが、私の見た限りお疲れの様子ではありますが、怪我などをされ。
それはよかった。私と夏日は今大切な話をしている。終わったらすぐに見舞いに行こう。その漂流者にはぜひくつろいでほしいと伝えたまえ。
かしこまりました。
When Genji paused deeply and started to leave, Natsu called him to stop. Genji stopped walking and Natsu jogged up to him.
Genji, その漂流者は男ですか？
いいえ、お嬢様くらいの若い女性でございます。
女性？そうですか。結構です。下がりなさい。
Were you worried it was your son? Or your alleged son? Also, I just noticed they have updated Genji's full name. The peril of the mansion was bustling. The adults gathered, worrying about the health of this sudden guest.
まあ自力でバラテーンまで歩いてこれたなら命に別状はねえだろうな。
転ばぬ先の杖やな。ライフジャケットのおかげやろ。あれがなかったら溺れ死んどったかもわからんで。
どんな子だったの？ジョージやジェシカちゃんより上？下？
ジェシカお姉ちゃんよりは下だった。
Younger than Jessica?
ライフジャケットと水着だった。ヘトヘトみたいだった。
漂着したのが船着き場のあたりだったなら本当に不幸中の幸いね。もし島の反対側だったら大変だったわ。しかし気の毒ね。この天気じゃきっと船も来られない。明日いっぱいまで彼女もこの島に釘付けかしら。
At that moment, the door clunked open and everyone looked in that direction.
皆様、
Goda.
お茶はいかがですか?
Umineko gang, hi observer, how you doing? It was Goda and Kanon, with the latter pushing a serving cart laden with a tea set. Goda understood well that doing a little extra at times like this would earn him points. The relatives hungry for information crowded around Goda. He ordered Kanon to serve the tea and became the sole object of the relatives' attention.
Goda-san, どうなんだい? 元気そうなのか?
さあ、わかりません。ですが、心配ご無用。南條先生がつきっきりで見ておりますし、熊沢もシャノンも一緒です。どうぞ、ご安心ください。まずは紅茶でおくつろぎになってはいかがですか? さあ、カノンさん、早く配って配って。
I'm very confused. Kanon knew this tea was just Goda's way of earning points, so he lined the cups up with a slightly sullen air.
Maria も手伝う.
Yes.
大丈夫です。マリア様はそのままでお待ちを。
おお、マリアも配膳やる。
Oh, yes, let her.
南條先生にはお会いしてないの？何か言ってなかった？
ええ、先ほどお会いしましたところ、それほどの外傷はないそうで、私もちらりとお見かけしたところでは。
And just as Goda had successfully captured the gazes of all present and was about to start talking knowledgeably on the subject, Nanjo returned. Of course, Nanjo instantly became the center of attention. Kanon turned his back on Goda, who seemed downhearted.
南條先生、どうなんですか？容体は大丈夫そうなの？
皆さん、ご安心を。 大丈夫です。
Mhm.
怪我は何もありませんでした。だいぶ疲労しているようですが、今夜特に熱を出さなければ何事もないでしょう。
ならよかったわ。お医者様はいても病院はないものね。
Everyone was relieved to hear that the girl was in good health. When Lanjo gave the more detailed results of his examination, concluding by saying that she was young and should therefore be fine, everyone who no longer fell under this description nodded in assent. Oh, I wish. Oh, Nanjo, I wish being young was the only thing you need to be fine. I just had this conversation today with a doctor. Like, I took today and tomorrow like a mental health day from work because the stress was affecting my body very badly to the point of chest pain, burning, and heart palpitations. And I went to the doctor to be like, can you like write me sick for today and tomorrow because I'm not feeling well enough to go to work because I have this and that. And he was like, you're too young to have symptoms like that. It's not supposed to happen. I was like, no shit.
やっぱり船は怖い。落ちる落ちる。バトラの言う通りだった。
マリアちゃん、それバトラ君には内緒ね。
ああ、奥様、旦那様。
Koda, who had lost his nerve and was handing out cups, called out in an excessively loud voice. Apparently he was that desperate to get everyone's attention.
客人の具合はどうだね?
Captain Obvious. Yeah, exactly, no? Right?
はい。別状はないとのことでございます。
そうですか。今はどちらに？
熊沢さんとシャノンさんがお風呂に案内したはずだ。それから服を見立てると言ってましたな。
ならすぐに来るだろう。諸君、親族会議の日ではあるが、不幸な事故で訪れることとなった来客だ。招いた客人ではないが、どうか歓迎してやってほしい。
Okay.
意義などあるわけもない。賛成や。
同じくだ。女の子には優しくしろっておふくろも言ってたぜ。
あなたはそれを人生のモットーにしすぎよ。ジョージたちも呼んだ方がいいわね。全員で挨拶しましょう。そんなかえって恐縮させちゃうんじゃない？
Probably. Eva stood up and made a phone call to the guest house. At that moment, they heard the sound of a knock, followed by Genji's voice.
源氏でございます。お客様がお越しになられました。
At those words, everyone fell silent, and the people who had been sitting stood up straight. Wait. Could it be? Is it her from the previous stream? Genji came in first, opening the door slowly. Then moved off to the side, bowing deeply and urging the guests forwards. It's her, isn't it? Ah, called it! It was her! The guest had Shannon and Kumasawa falling by her side. And even after seeing the large number of relatives waiting for her in the parlor, she didn't seem overawed in the slightest. Just this single point showed that this girl possessed a dignity appropriate for a guest invited in by the Ushiromiya family.
フルド様、ご紹介申し上げ。
フルドWhat?
後宮家当主代行、後宮クラウスにございます。
It's Queen Rat? What?
ようこそ六軒島へ。事故でいらしたとはいえ、あなたは当家の客人だ。歓迎しますよ。どうぞ当家おしばしの間ご自宅と思い。
ありがとうございます。自己紹介申し上げます。フルドエリカと申します。
フルドエリカ。Nice disguise, Rika.
この度は後ろ宮
Totally not フルドエリカ。That's exactly what I thought.
申し訳ございません。招かれざる客人であるにもかかわらずの歓迎、心より感謝いたします。
But she doesn't have the same voice as Rika. Does she? This was greeted by an impressed sigh arising equally from all corners of the room. The clothes she had been lent were probably Jessica's formal wear from long ago. But the composure of her introduction didn't shame those clothes to the slightest. Oh, so these aren't even her clothes. The girl's name was Furudo Erika. Fucking, this is the same as if Furudo Erika has the same energy as if it was someone who tried to take their name and add a letter or switch one letter to try to sound like they are totally undercover or like not the same or not a ripoff or something. Or like as if you take your name and spell it backwards and are like, I'm totally not the same person. Totally undercover. She looked slightly younger than Butler and Jessica. Slightly! She looks a lot younger. But her composure and mannerisms were beyond what anyone would have expected from a high schooler, almost as though she was a well-to-do family star. I swear to God, I thought she was from middle school. Middle school at best. It's really funny that she's from high school instead.
無能のあんたが主役駒じゃ、ゲームがさっぱり進まないもの。
With an incompetent like you as the main character piece? Wow, Rika. Wow, she was like, Batter, you suck as a main character, so let's toss in me.
だから私自身を
I played myself there as a piece. Oh my fucking god. She really went like, let's pluck Rika and me from Higurashi and stuck her in Umineko, give her frilly clothes and just tweak her a little bit.
ちょっとしたエキストラね。
Batter canonically incompetent.
いくらクローズドサークルだからっていつも同じ面々ばかりじゃ飽きるでしょ。
Okay, I guess.
ふざけるな。ベアトのゲーム版には存在しない駒だ。俺もベアトも認めない。
ベアトのゲーム版でしょ。ベアトが拒否するってんなら考えてあげるわ。ベアトの意見は
She can talk. That's just unfair. Beato was unable to answer. Lampadauta grinned triumphantly.
ルールにイチャモンつけてゲームを降りてみる？あんたら推理者の得意技じゃない。自分の意に沿わない要素が一粒でもあったら、それを理由に癇癪を起こして思考停止を起こすのは。
Well, she does kind of have a point.
安心なさい。このコマについては探偵宣言を出すわ。
探偵宣言？
フルドエリカは探偵であることを宣言するわ。
Okay.
探偵は犯人ではなく、その証明にはいかなる証拠も必要としない。早い話が、この子を一切疑う必要はないということよ。これなら人間の駒として登場してもいつもと変わらずに推理できるでし
ょ。Okay.
ノックス第7条ね。探偵が犯人であることを禁ず。原文には例外条項もあるんだけど、探偵は犯人でないと赤で宣言してるから、例外は考えなくていいわ。言葉遊びは嫌いだから、私も赤で言ってあげる。
Okay.
フルドエリカは犯人ではない。
Alright.
副賞要求。フルドエリカはこれまでのベアトのゲームに影響を与えない。い
いわ、応じる。フルドエリカはこれまでのベアトのゲームに影響を与えない。
Okay.
あくまでも今回初登場のエキストラよ。これまでの世界には存在しないし影響も与えないわ。
なら今の時点での在当者の人数はどうなるんだ？
18?
もちろんこれまでの人数にプラス1してもらうわ。でも安心して、フルドエリカが1人増えただけ。それ以外の在当者の人数はこれまでのゲームと全く同じ。
18? Is it? At that time, the sound of people dashing down the corridor could be heard. So is Erika more or less just meant to be like a filler for like a replacement for Kinzu, since we established that Kinzu is not here? But the game before was like there are 18 people in this island. Sometimes, not always. That Erika is filling the place of the 18th person. I do know in the previous game they said in red that there's only 17, so Are they going with the 18 people interpretation in this board? It was Batra, George, and Jessica had come from the guest house after being called here by Eva. They immediately spotted the guest they didn't recognize and their eyes went wide.
どちら様？
お客様、落ちる落ちるで来たの。
は？落ちる落ちる？
I love the sound that Batra made just. は？
源氏さん、こちらの方は？
お客様のフルドエリカ様でございます。フルド様、こちらは当家令嬢のジェシカ様、並びにいとこのジョージ様、バトラ様で。
よろしく。後ろ宮ジェシカです。
はじめまして、フルドエリカです。よろしくお願いいたします。
Though Batra, George, and Jessica didn't have a clue what was going on and were utterly bewildered, they had each introduced themselves.
好都合じゃない。これで人数がはっきりするわ。ゲストハウスのバトラたちが合流し、今客間には金蔵以外のすべての駒が人間が揃って。
そうなるわね。つまり今この客間にいる人数が在当者すべての人数ってことになるわね。
They are still not saying 18, so they are weaseling out.
18人いるはずの島が、じい様が実は死んでて、そこにベルンカステルの駒が1人追加され。
The number of humans on this island has returned to 18. Yep, that's what we are. I glanced around at the humans in the parlor. The guest Furudo Erika. And behind her Kumasawa and Shannon-chan. Off to the side was Genji-san. Uncle Kraus and Al-Natsi were welcoming the guest. Koda-san immediately started showing off, and Kanan-kun was being unsociable, wearing his usual blank expression. There was Dad and Kiria-san. Aunt-Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi. Aunt Rosa and Maria. And Dr. Nanjo. Then, on either side of me, were George Aniki and Jessica. This is everyone, the true number of people on the island at the moment.
何しろ、僕たちは全員後ろ宮だからね。気兼ねなく下の名前で呼んでほしいね。僕はジョージ。
俺はバトラだ。よろしくな。
ありがとうございます。ジョージさん、バトラさん、私のこともエリカと呼んでもらえると嬉しいです。
Can we just call you?
よろしく、エリカさん。
I want. Oh God, I'm scared because sure Erika is acting nice here, but since I know Bern is kind of an asshole, I'm like, when's your rat personality coming out? It was decided that Erika would be welcomed like a guest and allowed to borrow the bedroom next to the cousin room on the second floor of the guest house. In front of all the relatives, she had seemed dignified and a bit stiff. However, as she talked with George and Jessica, her expression began to soften gradually. I don't trust you! And so, the detective Furudo Erika was placed on a game board. So they're technically just writing fanfiction into Beato's game board. Erika out here being like, fuck this shit, I'm self-inserting into Umineko no Nakukoro League. Which, to be fair, I would too. I would self-insert into Umineko.
熊沢が勝手にお嬢様の昔の服を使用してしまいました。お許しください。
The clothes Erika wore were Jessica's old formal attire. Though the gift possessed a dignity that would put most adults to shame, her body was still physically similar to a middle schooler's. Jessica's old clothes fit her perfectly.
いいね。お客様にふさわしい身なりでしたよ。
I'm glad they agreed that they also feel like she might have come from middle school.
もし彼女が気に入るようでしたら、お近づきの印にプレゼントしても良いでしょう。
かしこまりました。ありがとうございます。
警察やご家族には連絡しましたか？
はい。先方も大層ご心配なされていたようでした。
Really?
ところで、客人は本当に事故でしょうね。
ご本人は寄港中のボートから転落したとおっしゃっております。
裏付けはありますか？
海保に問い合わせて確認。プレジャーボートの後部から転落したそうで、他の乗員たちは気づかなかったようです。
Okay, let's self-insert into the story where everyone gets slaughtered. I would only self-insert into the magic world.
実際の転落地点は分かりませんが、おそらくはここの近海でしょう。
For no reason in particular, you know.
この悪天候に船遊びなど愚かなことです。しかし、近海で溺れてこの島に漂着することは考えられるのですか？
ありえないことではありません。この辺りの島には大抵漂流民が流れ着いた伝承がございます。おそらく事故は真実ではないかと。この台風です。島のどこであろうとも船での接岸は不可能です。
That's true. Genji had already considered what she now suspected. Natsu probably suspected that this mysterious guest who had arrived during the already high-stress family conference might be the agent of some conspiracy. So Genji had already checked to make sure that the accident was real, that Furudo Erika was a real name, and that there was nothing suspicious going on.
わかりました。主人も丁重にもてなすようにと指示しています。粗相のないようになさい。ですが、わかっていますね。
はい。親族会議には一切近づけません。
Nice.
夕食後はゲストハウスへお引き取り願います。
客人をお父様に挨拶させろというような流れにもならないようよく注意するのですよ。
もちろんです。心得ております。
ほう。フルドエリカとな。この六軒島に来客とは珍しい。楽しませてくれそうではないか。
ベルンカステル教の駒でしょう。人間のルールに従うとはいえ、プレイヤーは魔女です。
They are surprisingly self-aware.
侮ることはできませんよ。
問題ない。仮にベルンカステル教本人であろうとも、人間である以上、わらわたちの敵ではない。
Are you absolutely certain?
何しろガープもいる。人間はガープに絶対に勝てぬ。
ありがとう。でも買いかぶりすぎは良くないわ。魔女の定義は魔法が使えることだけを意味したりはしない。
ですが、ジョーカーであり、台風の目である。それが魔女というも
の。この六軒島で魔女と名乗ってよいのはこのわらわ。黄金の魔女にして無限の魔女、ベアトリーチェのみである。ベルンカステル教名。エンジェの次なるコマがどの程度のものか。
Oh, so they are self-aware at least to that extent.
じっくりと観覧させてもらおうぞ。
If I could, I would probably experimenting self-inserting into certain rooms in the magic realm. I wonder if Rondove has a room. Erika's seat was the lowest one in rank. In other words, it was at the inferior end of the table. Since Kinzo's seat at the high end of the table was empty, if you spun the whole thing around, it sort of looked like Erika was the host of this dinner. You'd be already asserting dominance with the hand on the hip. Thanks. Yeah, I am. I am indeed.
本日の晩餐を始めさせていただきたいと思います。
After Goda's announcement, dinner began with applause that had become almost customary. It was finally the beginning of the dinner orchestra conducted by Toshiro Goda. Except for Kraus's household, sitting at such a majestic dinner table was no everyday thing for these people by any means. However, they were all used to this event and acted as though it was completely normal. Once again, if anyone was to be surprised, it should have been Erika. And yet she showed no signs of amazement at this dinner and acted with composure, blending in with everyone else. There wasn't a sliver of fear one might expect from someone who had wandered here like a lost rat! Like a lost puppy, sorry.
不思議な子ですね。後ろ宮家の 1年間で最も豪華な晩餐を前に何も取り乱さない。
最近の子は肝が据わってるわ。嫌いじゃないわ、そういうの。
フルドさんはこういう食事には慣れているのですか？
The only thing I know about Erika, like as a character, is that a lot of people call her a rat, but I don't know
大し
why.
た落ち着きようだ。
And best girl also. So
ほんまや
I wonder.
ずいぶん手慣れたもんや。わしなんかいまだに次はどのフォークを使えばいいんか混乱するんやで。ああ、こっちやったか、それともこっちやったか。
Without showing any confusion over the line of utensils in front of her, Erika gracefully ate her horse de Duvres. God, I can't, sorry. Hideyoshi had started joking around with her, gripping a fork in each hand. Of course, the president of a company in the food service industry like Hideyoshi obviously knew his table manners. However, thinking that Erika must be nervous over this dinner, he had intentionally spoken with a comic tone of voice.
外側から順に使うだけですし、面倒だったらお箸を頼めばいいんです。日本人ならお箸です。お箸はいいですよ。これ一膳あればどんな料理でも対処できます。
As soon as she began talking about chopsticks, her eyes started glittering. The smile she now showed for the first time was far different from the dignity she displayed before. More like something you'd expect from someone her age.
カレーライスはさすがにスプーンでしょ。
Yes?
丼に盛ればいいんです。
Ah, cat smile.
牛丼をスプーンで食べる人いますか？いませんよね。日本人なら断じて絶対鉄頭鉄尾お箸です。というわけでゴーダさん、すみませんがお箸をお願いします。私が日本人として恥ずかしくない食べ方をご覧に入れてみせましょう。ところで次のお料理は何ですか？
それが困ったことに、次はスープでございまして。
Okay. As she imitated the shrugging gesture, Erika winked at everyone. You're trying to be humorous? Of course, no one was laughing at her. She obviously knew that the soup came after hors d'oeuvre in a full course meal. Furthermore, Erika had noticed both that she'd been performing too perfectly and creating a sense of tension. And Hideyoshi had tried to break the ice because he thought she was nervous. That's why she started acting like a little childish and light-hearted, acting out the part of a guest enjoying a harmonious dinner. Oh, so all calculated. Pretty soon not only Kiria but everyone else caught on. Though she was an uninvited guest, she was apparently worthy of participating in an Ushiromiya family dinner.
頭のいい子ね。本当にこの子、偶然の来客なの？実は今日の親族会議にこっそり読んだ兄さんの隠し子じゃないの。
Don't make Kiria lose her shit.
賢く、
Okay.
場を和ますセンスもあるようだ。マナーも見事じゃないか。あんな子が娘だったら悪くはないね。
それはひでえぜ。ジェシカちゃんの立つ瀬がなくならな。
ひどいわ、ルドルフ兄さん。
どうしたんだい、ジェシカちゃん。頭痛かい？
私の評価がずんずん下がってる気がするぜ。
Rest in heck.
こりゃ本家の令嬢として負けられねえだろ。お前も日頃夏日おばさんに仕込まれてるテーブルマナーと貫禄で対抗してみろよ。
見たいテーブルマナー見たい。
Okay.
ほら、はしゃぐのはマナー違反だよ。
Oh no!
ささ、ジェシカちゃん、お手本を見せてあげて。
もちろんだぜ。
She doesn't know. Why would you put her in the spot like this, George? Jessica straightened up so much it looked like someone had poked her back with a pole. She had good posture, but it somehow lacked elegance. She looked, well, kind of like a triangle ruler. She sat at attention with her gaze fixed straight ahead, tried to bring her food to her mouth despite this, and failed miserably. That, who was sitting next to her, suddenly realized that something was up.
どうしたんだ、ジェシカちゃん。腹でも痛えのか?
Jessica turned bright red. Ugh, sorry, I can't help myself. We laughed our heads off. Jessica protested, still bright red. Our Nazi scolded us for being too improper. Well, no matter how much we tried to smooth it over, we are who we are. We couldn't pretend any longer. Still, that laugh really did help us to relax. We were so concerned about the guests getting nervous, we've gotten even more nervous ourselves. Our chatter from the center of this long table spread to both ends, and ultimately the dinner went even more smoothly than usual. With some delicious cheese and coffee, our peaceful meal came to an end. Gora won an anonymous acclaim and was praised for his skill by all present. After a short period of harmony following the meal, it was decided that we would return to the guest house. Normally, dinner tended to have a very dark atmosphere about it, and the adults would often keep that mood as we moved straight on to the family conference. Perhaps because this year's dinner had been oddly peaceful, everyone decided to take a break, the adults included. After eating, taking a bath, and relaxing while watching TV, I wonder if they'll gather again in the mansion with all this rain and resume that high-tension family conference of theirs. I'd rather not think about it. Apparently Aunt Eva was getting really worked up, trying to convince the rest of to start the family conference right away, but it didn't look like many people agreed with her. They'll probably call it quits for the night. Since they had guest house duty, Goda-san and Kumasawa-san were chosen to guide us to the guest house. It's gotta be tough for Goda-san. Even after making and cleaning up such an extravagant dinner, he also has the late night shift at the guest house. I heard that Kumasawa-san, old as she was, would be going to sleep soon. Seems that she was assigned the spare room.
皆様をゲストハウスまでご案内させていただきます。エリカ様のお部屋もご用意できております。
The VIP room.
ありがとうございます。
体調はどうです？具合が悪かったりはしませんか？
Oh wait, the VIP room was in the mansion itself, so
すっかり忘れてたけど、エリカちゃんは溺れてて流れ着いたんだよな。今日は無理しねえで、早く寝た方がいいだろうな。
全然平気です。それよりも緊張と興奮でむしろ寝つけないくらいです。じゃあ遊ぼう。みんなで遊ぼう。
Yes.
トランプしよう。
Maria latched onto her, giggling. This lack of restraint peculiar to youth was very much like Maria. However, we really should be concerned for Erika's physical condition now.
マリア、トランプは私たちと一緒に遊ぼう。エリカお姉ちゃんは疲れてるんだってさ。
トランプも好きですよ。一息つきましたら、ぜひご一緒させてください。やったー！
So far, so good, but I still don't trust her. Not for even a second.
あれはどちら様ですか?
As she passed through the lobby of the entrance hall, Erika stopped walking. When we saw what she was looking at, the rest of us also stopped.
ああ、あちらは黄金の魔女、ベアトリーチェ様でございますよ。
黄金の魔女。
何やってんだガキども。さっさとゲストハウスへ引き上げるぞ。
Dad, Kirie-san, Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, and Aunt Rosa all came over. The entire guest house party had gathered. However, Erika's gaze was captured by the portrait of the witch, and she simply stared at it for a while.
Ah. 親父は200億相当の黄金を隠し持っていて、その隠し場所をあの碑文に記したって言われてる。
Perhaps it was too early for all to disperse into their individual rooms. Because their relatives who had returned to the guest halls all gathered on the first floor, continuing their chat. The topic was the witch's epitaph, which Erika had taken an interest in.
魅力的な謎ですね。誰にでも見られるところに堂々と張り出し、私たちの知恵に挑戦する。 そういう挑戦大好きです。
ひゅー、エリカちゃんは案外ノリがいいな。謎解きとか好きなのか？
面白そうじゃないですか、そういう挑戦。多分金蔵さんはあの碑文によって跡継ぎを選ぼうというつもりに違いありませんね。
When she said that, the adult stopped moving and slowly turned to face Erika.
どうしてそう思うの？
Aunt Eva spoke with a coaxing voice. Though every now and then there had been whispering among the relatives that whoever saw the epitaph riddle might be given the family inheritance, this had been no more than wishful thinking, since such a thing had never been specifically stated. And yet, though she had only read it once, this outsider had already reached that conclusion. How had she come to it? No, that's not the problem. If you sow the epitaph, you can become the next head. She wasn't trying to make it sound like wishful thinking, but an outright fact. So they closed in around Erika with asking why she was so sure.
大富豪が謎を解いた者に富を譲るというのは割とよくあるシチュエーションです。
Wait, I've heard this song before, but not here.
そしてご当主の金蔵さんはその碑文を新聞に載せたのではなく、お屋敷の中に掲示しました。
I actually have heard this somewhere very specific, but I don't want to mention here.
つまりこのお屋敷
I've heard people use this in memes and whatnot.
ということです。
And other things. Like other funny videos.
この屋敷の中である以上、この屋敷に出入りできない者には解きようがない。つまりこの屋敷の人間にじい様は挑戦してきたってわけだ。
グッド、良い思考です。あの碑文が屋敷内にあったという一時からでもその程度のことを読み取ることが可能です。
At first, this Furuda Erika girl seemed to be the fairly silent type, but that apparently wasn't the case. She grew excited by a challenge to a game of wits. She became much more talkative than I'd imagined.
なるほどな。
Well, I guess she has an interest in
屋
magic
敷の
solving
中に碑文が
and
ある
epitaph solving.
屋敷の人間に読ませるためってのは確かに道理や。
でも家督を譲る相手までも選ぶというのは言い切れるものなの？
この謎を解いて得られる宝がほんのささやかなものでしかないなら私もそこまでは思いません。
そうよね。隠された黄金の価値は200億。それはまさに後宮家の財産そのものだわ。
それを受け継ぐということは後宮家を引き継ぐことと限りなく同じ意味です。つまり碑文に込めた黄金の隠し場所という謎は後宮家の実質的な後継者選びに他ならないということです。
Yeah, she's basically just spelling out what has been theorized about it in the question arcs. The idea that the one who solved the epitaph would be chosen as its successor had been passed around by some of the relatives for a while now. However, since it had never been specifically announced, it was nothing more than an optimistic dream. Thinking this, they decided to abandon all consideration of this point until the details were made clear. Erika had clearly declared that this uncertain point was, in fact, true. If one of the relatives had said it, people would have thought it to be merely an optimistic dream. However, when this was declared by a complete outsider, those words seemed to be even more credible. Everyone remained silent for a while, slowly considering what those words implied.
ただ碑文がそこに存在するだけでフルドエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。
Okay.
いかがでしょうか皆様方。
横やりで申し訳ねえけどさ、一応はうちの父さんが次期当主なわけだぜ。隠し黄金を誰が見つける云々はともかくよ、見つけたら当主ってのはそういうことにはならねえんじゃねえかよ。
Oh, if only you knew, Jessica. Jessica thought the treasure hunting part of the epitaph was really fun. However, she couldn't help but let her expression grow bitter once they started talking about the undermining her father's position.
私の推理から演繹する限り、金蔵さんは次期当主のクラウスさんに円滑な当主継承を望んでいないと考えられます。
どうしてだよ。
莫大な財産を持つ後宮家の当主なら政治的な意味で様々な影響力を持つことになるでしょう。ならば本来その継承は厳格であり、一切の紛れが入るべきではありません。
そうね、うちの人の好きな戦国武将の話でもよくあるわ。後継ぎ候補が複数いたりすると大抵お家騒動の火種になる。
Oh, you mean like right now?
そうやな。だからトラブルを未然に防ぐためにしっかりと後継者、時には競合する後継者を粛清することさえあるんやで。
The Sengoku commander Hideyoshi admired Toyotomi Hideyoshi made his son-in-law Hidetsugu commit seppuku. But it was rumored that he might have done this to make Hideyori, who was his real son and born after Hidetsugu, his real heir. In other words, naming a successor was a way to make it generally known that a single unique person would be acknowledged by everyone, and a way to remove any chance of another person becoming an opposite candidate. Opposing candidate.
まさにその通りです。あのような碑文の存在はクラウスさんの次期当主の肩書きを危ぶませる意味しかありません。つまり金蔵さんがクラウスさんに当主を円満に継承させたいと願うなら、あのような危険なものをわざわざ人目にさらす理由がないわけです。
そうね、チェス盤をひっくり返せば確かにそう言える。当主は継承するけれども200億の黄金は譲らない、解けた誰かに譲るというのはおかしな話だわ。
Kiza would pass on the title of family head, but he would only give up to 20 billion yen in gold to the person who solved the epitaph. You really couldn't call this passing on the headship in the truest sense.
そういうことです。以上の推理により、金蔵さんがクラウスさんを本当に後継者だと認めていたか、ただ碑文がそこに存在するだけで、古田エリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。
Oh, is this like her gimmick that she says this level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika?
いかがでしょうか、ジェシカさん。
Looking smug.
なんだよそれ。何が推理だ。デタラメだ。こじつけだ。
Jessica let her emotions lay bare and glared at Erika. Erika, on the other hand, looked exceedingly calm with an expression that said, well, that's just the truth, right? I see. It looks like table manners aren't the only way this girl is fitting for the Ushiromiya family. It seems she really does match the family, even when it'd be better if she didn't. Well, she too is a rat.
まあまあ、落ち着けよ、ジェシカ。エリカもそれくらいにしろって。
まあその後継者云々の話は置いといてもやな。いずれにせよお父さんからのビッグクエスチョンやというのは間違いないやろな。200億やで、マリアちゃん。もし見つけたら何に使う？
おお、黄金鏡は黄金だけじゃない。もっと神聖な場所なの。
Yes, it is. Uncle Hideyoshi kept trying to force himself to chuckle and improve the mood. Everyone tried to play along, but Jessica's mood didn't get any better.
Erika ちゃんも碑文の謎に挑戦してみたくなったのかい？
はい。灰色の脳細胞がうずきまくりです。ですので、謎解きを早速始めたいと思います。
George Aniki smoothly turned the conversation around. Just like the time she'd make everyone laugh in the dining hall, Erika looked about with gleeful eyes and jumped at the chance.
気に入ったわ。せっかくエリカちゃんが面白がってくれてるんだし、また去年みたいにみんなで謎解きをしてみましょうよ。
私コーヒー入れるわ。欲しい人は手を挙げて。マリアはダメよ。眠れなくなっちゃうでしょ。
Maria's like, but I want coffee!
マリアもブラック飲む。
You can't though, it's too late. You're too young. You can have some cocoa though. Make her some cocoa. Don't get it.
こういう謎、私は大好きです。
No, you don't. Erika said that and smiled. Though she must know that she ticked Jessica off and made the atmosphere sour, she just smiled nonchalantly. Like Burn would.
別に10月5日の事件を待たなくても解ける謎はあるってわけ。
Yeah, there's a point.
そりゃ俺も何度か挑んださ。だが
But
でもさっぱりわからなかったから投げ出して考えるのをやめたでしょ。
It pissed me off, but I don't have a good counter for that. After all, I don't get the epitaph at all. I don't even know what the beloved hometown means, much less the parts about the Sweetfish River and the key. Thinking that a few more hints would show up if I waited, I kept on waiting and just stopped thinking.
あなたなりの答えは準備できてる？
No.
私が今から解いちゃうから。
何？
ベルンはね、ここで碑文の謎を解いちゃったのよ。さすが奇跡の魔女ね。解ける謎であるならば難易度に関係なく必ず解ける。今度は解くのに何年かけたの？
失敬ね。
Only fish through a few hundred oh. Well, a decade? Did you cycle a decade? Just solve it.
やっぱり恐ろしいわ。
Batter is like, I don't know how to solve the riddle, and Burn is like, just solve it.
それは赤で答えをいきなり語るとかそういうインチキじゃねえんだろうな。
安心なさい。あなたと同じプレイヤーとしてのルールにのっとってよ。
She's like, don't worry, unlike you, I'm not a bitch.
じゃあ始めようかしら。ここじゃ狭いわ。海の上で話しましょう。
By the sea.
OK。
海って何の話だ
I thought the whole world had turned pitch black, and the next moment, I was struck by a strange floating sensation. This must be what it feels like to suddenly have the floor drop from under you, sending you into a bottomless pit. Where are we at? Ah! Okay. I don't think I have seen this background before. When I looked, I saw that the two witches and I had been thrown into a pitch black universe. In this space, every direction was covered in an endless darkness, and it felt like a limitless expanse filled with countless glittering objects. Deja vu? Is it? Some people might have likened it to the depths of an ocean where Oh! Is it the deja vu from like episode 3? Some people might have likened it to the depths of an ocean where innumerable sparkling fragments drifted. Oh! Never mind. Sorry, not episode 3. Are we in the sea of fragments?
重力の概念が欲しいなら自分で生み出しなさい。ほら、落ち着いて私たちを見て。ほら、私たちは平気そうにしてるでしょ。
We're in the sea of fragments!
重力に支配されていると信じなさい。そうすれば安定できるから。
Yes, the two witches are standing there normally, as if their feet were planted on transparent pieces of glass. Bingo de Spighi was used in Higurashi. Oh, okay, I wasn't aware because I didn't read the Higurashi novel. I only read like the manga a little bit, a few arcs. Okay, I watched the anime, like the first and the second one. Then Go and Sotsu, oh wait, and Rei as well. But I read some arcs in manga format, and I did start reading Onikakushi in visual novel format. But I'm not sure if I'll just... but I couldn't get past further because I've already experienced Onikakushi at the time like 3 times. Technically, like, I experienced it in manga form, anime form, and then again in Go. Technically, so I was like, I don't feel like reading Onikakushi again. So I was like, I'll just leave it for now. I also haven't read the console bonus arcs in Higurashi, but after Umineko, Higurashi console arcs was going to be one of the poll options that I would let viewers choose for what visual novel series I do next after Umineko. Hold on. I'm the one floating about like someone in a rapidly plummeting elevator. When I saw that they were doing just fine, I started calming down, figuring that there was no need to be scared. Then, just as Lambda said, I gritted my teeth and kept telling myself that there was a place to stand here and that I had to stay calm.
お上手お上手。あんたの名前は？
後宮バトラ。
I love how she's like, okay, so tell us your name, dumbass.
他の誰に見えるよ。
オッケー。自分の意志、感情、姿や形を決して喪失してはダメ。ここは海なんだからね。意味を喪失すれば永遠の深淵に落ちて海の藻図よ。
I haven't either, but I do recommend reading at least Ray, Dice Killing Chapter, unless you've seen the OVA already. I already have, actually. I've seen Saikoroshi Hen already, which at the start of the stream I was recommending someone else in the chat and talking about Higurashi a little, and I talked about a little bit about Saikoroshi and how I think it's such a good epilogue for Higurashi.
気をつけなさい。
Oh, we're getting a raid. Hi, Nana. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing? How's everyone doing? Oh, thank you so much. How are you doing? What were you doing before the stream? Before the raid, sorry. Let's do a shout out very quickly. Let's see if it works. Yes.
Ooh, peppers are peppers.
Peppers. Good clip. I have to go to work now. Sorry to raid and run. I love you. Oh, thank you, Nana. Love you too. Have a good time at work. And thank you a lot for the raid. Hold on, where was I? Okay. I don't get what Rambo Delta's saying, but I should calm down for the time being. Oh, text wasn't advancing. There we go. It seems that I regained my equilibrium the more I calmed down. Gradually, that weird floating feeling like I was falling forever began to disappear. It still felt strange, like trying to stand up straight at the bottom of a deep pool, but it was much better than before. There's Burn.
では始めるわ。碑文の謎を解くためのかけらを紡ぐ。
I think we're going to take one fragment from episode 3, aren't we? Bernkastel opened both of her hands. Then, like a planetarium, all of the fragments throughout this empty space began to spin, leaving tails behind them. The expression planetarium might have been surprisingly fitting. Multiple fragments were tied together by gold lines, and what looked like constellations zoomed by us rapidly, even one after another. It felt almost as though we were dashing through space at an incredible speed. Then, with tails of light drifting behind them, several brightly glowing fragments swirled around Bernkastel. It almost looked like, it looked almost like she'd created her own solar system with her as the sun. The solar system surrounding Bernkastel grew to a radius large enough to swallow us up. And every once in a while, one of those satellite fragments zoomed right past me. Oh, these are screenshots from the previous chapters. That's so cool. When those fragments passed by me, it felt as though some kind of memory welled up inside me, so I sensed it. Those fragments are probably like a crystallization of memories.
記憶じゃないわ。世界のかけらよ。まあ、あんたには記憶のように感じられるだろうけどね。
では始めるわ。
Magic intensifies? Yes! I'm actually pretty excited for this. This is a pretty cool scene. More magic, let's go! One of the satellites in the solar system was slowly sucked into an inward trajectory with Bernkastel at the center. After drawing a spiral and approaching her, it settled down on the palm of Bernkastel's outstretched hand. Then it glittered brightly, painting over the world with pure white. Which fragment is this? The third one! I called it!
私たちの想像をきっと裏切らないわ。お父様が唯一懐かしむ過去は少年時代だけだも
の。覚えてるぜ。これは第3のゲームでエヴァおばさんが碑文の謎を解く直前にしていた自分の中の魔女という。
そうよ。そしてこの考察から彼女は正解を紡ぎ出した。つまり正解へ至る重要なヒントを示すかけらということ。つまりこの推理は間違っていないということなのよ。
Okay, let's go.
つまり懐かしき故郷とやらば何かの比喩でも何でもなく、そのままじい様が少年時代を過ごした故郷と読み取っていい。
そういうこと。そして少なくともそれは小田原ではないわ。
生まれは確かに小田原だけど、それについては多分兄弟たちは全員同じ場所で認識してるわね。
This would be...
そうね。多分小田原じゃないわね。聞いた話ではとても楽しい少年時代だったそうよ。
そうだな。エヴァおばさんたち兄弟は小田原であることを否定していた。
Did they throw up any other locations?
それどころかみんなはじい様の故郷がどこか察しているようだった。
そう。そして意地悪なことにそれがどこなのかは、どのかけらでも語っていない。
I was wondering if it was dropped or not.
そりゃそうでしょう。それを教えてあげちゃったらヒントが過ぎちゃうわ。難易度の高い謎でなきゃ意味がないんだから。あらいけない。これもヒントになっちゃうわね。
一体じいさんの故郷というのはどこだったんだ。それがわからなくちゃ始まらない。
始まらないから思考を停止したわけ。
I actually wouldn't know either, so...
住み得た場所である以上それは有限の範囲内だわ。
Yeah.
まあここが一番辛いところなんだけれど。
お前は確か解ける謎である限り絶対に解ける魔女だったな。つまりお前はその有限の範囲内
And tested every single one.
つまり地球上の全てからじい様の住んでそうな土地を全て想定して考えたのか。
Damn.
そうしてもいいけれどそれじゃあ時間がいくらあっても足りないわ。だからさらにヒントを加味して答えを絞る必要があった。
Okay, what were the hints?
自分で言ったじゃない。水の流れる川かどうかわからないって。あゆという言葉がそんなにもややこしいなら忘れてしまえ。川で考えるの。川で家系図という連想は悪くないわ。その要領で川から連想するものを他にも考えてみて。
How to link a river with something else along those lines? Possibly a sea? Maybe?
故郷を貫く鮎の川。しかしその川は本当の意味での川ではない。エヴァは川から連想できる他のものを考えた。
Something that would be linked with a river. The only thing I can think of is a sea.
そうだな。しかし川じゃないなら鮎って何なんだ。
考えなさい。故郷を貫く川。でも水の流れる川じゃないわ。川のようにも例えられるもの。懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川。
Behold the sweet fish river.
エヴァは故郷がどこか分かってたから鮎というヒントを切り捨てて考えたけど、故郷を知らない私たちにはヒントになりうるかもしれないわ。
鮎の川に悩みすぎたわ。鮎なんて大した意味ないじゃない。
そんなことないわよ。
立派なヒントだったじゃない。まあ確かに鮎である必要はなかったかもね。
There was no need for it to be a sweet fish.
鮎って何なんだ。川が言葉通りの川でない以上、鮎だってもちろん泳ぐ魚を意味したりはしないはずだ。
そうね。その上ローザに至っては鮎に大した意味はないとまで言い捨ててるわ。
その一方でエヴァは鮎である必要はないが立派なヒントだ
The
ったとも
sweet
言ってい
fish
る。
itself wasn't important for them, but it was still an excellent hint.
つまり鮎は何かを想起させる鍵だということ。
The sweet fish is the key to make it into
その何か
something
が
else.
他の単語であっても想起できるなら、エヴァの言う鮎である必要はないがという言葉につながってくる。
Something about Ayu, is it? Okay, from these thoughts, Aunt Eva formed some theory. Went to the library, looked through some books, and verified that she was right. In short, Aunt Eva formed some theory about the true nature of the Sweetfish River running through a hometown. Then she opened a certain book to determine whether that theory was correct or not. In other words, this theory was something that could be verified through some kind of book. Also, after she figured out what the Sweetfish River was, she figured out the rest of the riddle very quickly.
良い思考よ。碑文は川を下ればやがて里ありと続く。
As you travel down the river, you will
エ
see
ヴ
a
ァはその
village.
時点ではそこから始まる産業の謎を解けてはいなかった。
里って何？里ってどういう意味？この川を下ると里なんてあるの？
She figured something out. Right before my eyes, the pieces that I hadn't been able to understand at all began to snap into place all by themselves. I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. My throat grew completely dry. Is it really okay for this to be the answer? Really? Really? I remember this part. Oh, it was amazing.
故郷を貫く鮎の川が分かれば自動的に川を下れば里あり云々が分かって黄金鏡の鍵が手に入るってわけだ。
そういうことよ。エヴァもその書物を読んで確かめるまでは川を下った里のことは分からなかったみたいだし。
Hint: without love, it cannot be seen. that doesn't help me all that much.
その書物って何なんだ。
でもこれは全然6文字じゃないわ。
I'm very bad with riddles.
これが答えに間違いないって断言できるけど、これは全然6文字に満たない。
また思考停止？ならそれを6文字で読める方法を考えなさい。
No way you could read it with 6
思いつかないなら調べなさい。きっと答えはある。それを疑ってはダメ。それが信じられないならとっとと泣き寝入りでもしてへそでもかんで死んじゃえば。1、2、
6文字。見つけた。これが黄金鏡への鍵。
I'm going to need like a more direct hint.
そしてエヴァは黄金鏡への鍵を見つけたわ。
ああ、そしてその鍵と6文字の何か。言葉か数字か文字列なんだ。
そういうこと。鍵の正体が6つの文字だと分かれば第一の番の意味がだいぶ分かってくる。
When it comes to riddles, never trust me to be able to solve them very easily because I'm already bad at Baba Is You. I'm very bad with puzzles. I can't be good at predicting like plot twists or certain plot points with little hints in certain stories. Not always. I don't want to toot my own horn like that because it isn't like that. Usually it's just like things that are obvious for when I'm like observant of a character's behavior and voice acting. And like narrative devices. But when it comes to actually giving me a puzzle, I'm like, well shit, I don't know. In other words, it means to sacrifice the 6 characters chosen by the key on the first Twilight.
この鍵がある特定の6人を指し示す。いえ、ある特定の6つを指し示すという。もしこれが文字通りに生贄を捧げろという意味でないならば、例えばアナグラムかもしれない。
Does it have something to do with the positions where the body, like the body parts that had to be gouged?
文字遊びのことかね。
Oh, I feel like this is like a kanji wordplay, so that's a more difficult aspect for me. Yes, Kiya-san has been thinking that way ever since that moment.
第2の番に残されし者はとある。
Okay, those remain shall praise. Okay. Head, chest, stomach, knee, leg. Those remain shall go over close. Boy, this is shall praise my noble name.
ということは、少なくともその何かは有限の文字数なの。そこから6文字を抜いて残った文字で話を進めろと読み解ける
わ。つまり第一の番に6文字以上の文字列か。
A list of characters that's longer than 6 kill the 6 that are the key.
残った文字でどうにかしろという意味なんだ。
Okay. That's a little bit more simple. But like I said, since it's numbers by kanji, it's going to be hard for me to figure this out on my own. I think this will be one I need to have spelled out to me by the story.
何から6文字を殺せばいいのか、その殺す大元の文字列がわからない。
On the first Twilight, kill the 6 characters that are the key. On the first Twilight.
つまり第一の番という時点でもう何かの文字列が存在するということなのか。
Probably.
しかし第一の番じゃ他の読み方か。G 様風に英語で読むならファーストナイト。
グッとバトラさんのその考え、なかなかです。鍵の選びし6人の生贄を6文字の文字列と読み解く柔軟な発想だと思います。鍵が鍵の形状をしたものとは限りませんから。
アナグラムの可能性は私も考えてたの。
そういや、以前そんなことを言ってたな。しかしだとしたら何から6文字を抜くんだ？
Where do we take the 6 characters out
そうね、6文字も抜く以上、それ以上の文字数だわ。第1の番を6文字以上にどう読み解けばいいのかしら。
お父様のセンスならやっぱり英語なのかしら。
行き詰まるようなら先に第2の番に進みヒントを探してみましょう。残されし者は寄り添う2人を引き裂け、残されし者は6文字を抜いた後に残った文字だと考えてよいでしょう。
Those who remain as the remaining characters after the first 6 have been taken out.
となると、寄り添う2文字とはどういう意味になるんだろうね。
そうか、わかったぜ。つまりはこういうことだ。
For example, let's take the following list of 9 characters: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then let's say that the 6 characters offered as sacrifice are 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. In this case, we erase the aforementioned 6 characters from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and get 2, 5, 6. Sorry, 2, 4, 5. Jesus.
2と4と5が残るな。
あ、4と5寄り添ってる。
Oh!
そうか、つまり寄り添いし2人っちゅうんは。
そうさ。2と4は間が空いているが、
But 3 and 5 are right next to each other, so tear them apart.
寄り添いし2人だ。
グッド、お見事です、バトラさん。引き裂くという意味が4と5も潰せという意味なのか、4と5の間を開けと言っているのかは分かりかねますが、その着眼は良いと思います。
なら第3の番の残されし者は誉れ高き我が名を称えよってのは何だと思う？
文字遊びである可能性が高い以上、それもまた言葉遊びの可能性があります。残された文字は誉れ高き我が名を称えよ。
難しいね。どういう意味だろ
う。どなたかわかる方は？私は多分わかっちゃいました。
Of course you know.
何教えなさいよ。
これもアナグラム。
またしてもグッド。バトラさんはなかなか発想が柔軟です。
アナグラムって文字遊びって意味だよね。ということは、
つまり残った文字を入れ替えると何かの単語ができるという意味じゃないかしら。
だな。とすると、ちょいと勇み足な仮説だが、俺は第一の番に間引く大元の文字数は11文字じゃないかと想定する。
またしてもお見事。私も同じ見解でした。
どうしてや？どうして11文字なんて言えるんや
？11 characters?
生贄を一人殺すというのは文字を一文字潰すことを意味すると思われます。第2の番の引き下げをとりあえず2文字の間を開けという意味で解釈した場合なら11文字。
Okay.
この引き下げが2文字を潰せという意味なら13文字になると想定されます。
Jesus, this wordplay is killing me.
なぜならその後の第4の番から第8の番にかけて、そしてその次の第9の番で誰も生き残れないと書かれています。
魔女が蘇るって部分をとりあえず無視するなら、これは第1の番に6文字潰し、寄り添った文字を割いて、
This is the new wordle. This wordle is something else.
ぴったり文字がなくなるという意味ではないかと考えたんだ。
So let's make 6 plus 5 or 11 characters. If tearing apart 2 war clothes in the second twilight means to kill both of them, that makes 6 plus 2 plus 5 or 13 characters. There's a chance that the word symbolizing the first twilight has 11 or 13 characters. Wait, it couldn't be that easy, could it? It's not easy for me though! It's absolutely brain-wracking for me.
バトラさんもどうやら私と同じ灰色の脳細胞に恵まれているようですね。
よせやい。適当だぜ、適当。
It didn't come naturally to you in the previous 4 games, dude.
おいおい、なんだよこれ。駒の俺は随分と頭が切れるじゃねえか。
Burn made him a little bit more competent than you,
おか
I
げで俺の
guess.
推理する出番がねえぜ。
ああ、ごめんなさい。バトラはこの時不在だったから私の方で勝手に駒を操らせてもらった。
Burn is like, I made you smarter. You're welcome.
切れ者っぽくていいでしょ。
あんたはベルにプレイヤーをしてもらった方が賢そうに見えるわ。プレイヤーは降りて
Jesus, that's just
駒に専念
savage.
した方が良くない
I joined in on this game partway through, well after the first murders occurred on the October 5th. That means the piece called me was controlled by the player Bernkastel. So I guess that means it's possible for Bernkastel's reasoning to be announced through my mouth. The game I'm watching now is nothing more than a replay of a part that's already ended. However, that's probably good enough for now. After all, this Bernkastel Sama's going out of her way to solve the epitaph for me. I'll watch closely for now. and I'll try to find out what it means. Mama Delta let it slip herself just a second ago.
そりゃそうでしょう。それを教えてあげちゃったらヒントが過ぎちゃうわ。難易度の高い謎でなきゃ意味がないんだから。あらいけない。これもヒントになっちゃうわね。
If it wasn't a hard riddle, there'd be no point in it. That's just a fact, though. The theory about grandfather creating the epitaph in order to choose a successor isn't bad at all. Erika and Bernkastel's logic is extremely reasonable. And that's only if we assume grandfather was the one to create it. He was probably alive at the time the epitaph was displayed, but of course grandfather is already dead by 1986. And in the games up until now, Beatrice threatened us repeatedly with letters saying that the only way to survive was to solve the epitaph, and trying to force us to solve the riddle. In other words, it was Beatrice's intention, her hope, that we would try solving the riddle of the epitaph. The epitaph's so confusing in most cases, the relatives never seriously tried to solving it until the threatening letters started to arrive. That's why Beatrice fired the starting pistol that made us take a go at it. Why is Beatrice carrying out grandfather's will after his death? Like the theory proposed in the first game, is Beatrice really grandfather's confidant, who's following his orders even after his death and trying to select a successor with the riddle of the epitaph in grandfather's stead? If she did that, it would mean Beatrice really was Kinzo's trusted underling. The family alchemist she claimed to be in that letter. After grandfather's death, Beatrice managed the 10 tons of gold and took the title of alchemist. She was entrusted with the epitaph's riddle without ever embezzling the gold. She waited for a human fitting to be the successor to appear and solve it. And if the human didn't appear within a set time limit, would that be game over? Certainly Aunt Eva, who solved the riddle in the third game, became the only survivor and automatically the final head of the Shiromiya family, inheriting everything. Up until now, no one has ever survived past October 5th except Aunt Eva, the one who solved the epitaph. That was the only case where Beatrice let anyone survive. Is Beatrice's loyalty to grandfather the thing that drove her? Was she so loyal that she faithfully carried out some terrible order to kill everyone if the epitaph wasn't solved? I must not stop thinking. Don't stop thinking. Don't just think of the riddle itself, think about why it's significant. Why is Beatrice telling us to solve the epitaph? Why is she making us solve such a confusing epitaph? If Beatrice makes us try and solve this epitaph, we have no real chance of solving, and by some lucky chance a miracle occurs and someone is able to solve it. What significance would that have to her? I don't know what such a miracle would be worth to Beato.
いずれにせよ、第一の番がわからねえ限り、これ以上はお手上げだな。
I tried looking at it from several different angles, but in the end we got stuck there and made no further advances. Maria's sleepy! Maria let out an extra large yawn. This caused several other people to yawn. We've been using our heads so much that everyone had gotten a little sleepy. Jessica, who'd been silent and irritated the whole time, quickly stood up.
私はマリアと一緒に上へ行ってるぜ。テレビでも見てる。
そうだね。僕も上がるよ。そうだ。みんなで上でトランプでもしようか。
When George proposed this, Maria completely forgot about that big yawn of hers and started jumping around, insisting that she wanted to play cards. According to the clock, it was already 10 at night. It was already about time you'd normally take a bath and get ready for sleep. Even the adults seemed pretty weary from traveling. We decided to continue this later and we went our separate ways.
エリカちゃんも一緒にどう？トランプ。
お気持ちだけで結構です。客人の分もわきまえず、ちょっと仕切りすぎました。今夜はおとなしく休もうと思います。自分が遭難者であることをすっかり忘れていましたから。
I forgot that I fell off a boat and almost drowned and died.
とても溺れてたとは思えない元気さだ。
若さね。でも楽しかったわ。あなたのおかげで推理が一層進んだ気がする。もし私が黄金を見つけたら100万円くらい分けてあげるわ。
なせめて気前よく1億ぐらいドーンとは言えんのか。
なあ
結構です。私に興味があるのは謎解きだけですので、それではこれで失礼します。おやすみなさい。
おやすみ。
あら、バトラ君は上に行かないの？
Nope。
俺はちょっと面白くなっちまった。もう少しここで考えをまとめてみます。第一の番を示す文字列さえ分かればきっと一気に道は開けると思うんすけどね。
Everyone entered the second floor one by one. Only Aunt Rosa remained behind, cleaning up the coffee cups everyone had been drinking out of. Kirie-san and some others had offered to help, but Rosa had refused and was washing them all alone. Since I'd just been treated to such a delicious coffee, I decided to help too. I wasn't just doing it because I felt obligated. I wanted to keep discussing the epitaph with someone.
第一の番。ローザおばさんはなんか思いつく文字列とか言葉あるっすか？
さあ、私には全然。でも第一の番じゃなくて第10の番はちょっと気になったかしら。
第10の番？何ですか？
うん、黄金鏡って単語何度も出てくるでしょ？
出てきますね。
なぜか第10の番だけ旅は終わり黄金の今日、いえ里ね、黄金の里へ至るだろうって書かれているの。どうしてここだけ黄金の里と書かれているのか気になってね。
本当だ。確かに他はみんな黄金鏡って書かれてるのに。
That haiku should have been a key part of the riddle, where you wouldn't expect the writer to waste words needlessly. Could it have been done for some special purpose?
しかしバトラ君とあのエリカちゃんって子はすごいわね。発想が本当に柔らかい。私なんかもうおばさんだから頭が全然回転しないのよ。
Girl, you're like 30!
今日の鍵の選び師6人は6文字を間引けという意味だという推理は見事だったわ。そう聞かされちゃったらもうそうにしか思えないけれど、それまでは全然そうだと思わなかったものね。自分の頭の硬さが嫌になるわ。
そんなことないっすよ。ローズおばさんだって頭十分柔らかいっすよ。その黄金の里って発見は何かの鍵になるかもしれないじゃないっすか。
とんでもない。カチカチよ。私なんてついこの間までは第1の番というのは黄金鏡までの道中の10分の1の場所だとか思ってたんだから。
なんすかそれ。面白そうだから聞かせてくれませんか？
だって第1の番の前の行に黄金鏡へ旅立つべしって書いてあるでしょ。そして10日をかけて旅をするわけだから、これはその旅の途中のお話なんだろうと思ったの。
旅、確かに。
A journey, okay.
それで旅を始めて最初の一晩目のキャンプで6人を生贄に捧げて、ならその場所ってどこだろう。スタート地点から何キロ目なんてね。内緒よ。おばさんバカだから黄金の里のことずっと黄金の京って読んじゃってて、ほら京って言うと京都みたいでしょ。だからお父様の故郷から京都までの旅路の最初の10分の1の地点に何か秘密が隠されてるんじゃないかって思って。
Whatever the hell that means.
いや、めちゃくちゃ斬新っすよその発想。10日をかけての旅の最初の1番目の場所、そこの地名が鍵か。
それを知るにはスタート地点とゴール地点がわからないとね。スタート地点は分かってるの。お父様が懐かしむ故郷は分かってる。 お父様は少年時代をとても遠方で過ごされたのよね。
Really is far away, okay.
でも問題はゴールの黄金鏡ね。一体どこのことなのかしら。それがわからなきゃ私の説もさっぱり。長いことここで行き詰まってたんだけど、今日のバトラ君たちの推理を聞いてて、やっぱり私の恥ずかしい勘違いだったんだわって思い知ったわ。
いや、それはそれで、スタートとゴール10日間の旅、その最初の一晩目の到達点。
案外バトラ君ならポロッと解けちゃったりしてね。
This might be like the mansion where we do know the undergrounds to look similar to like the offshoot mansion in Rokkenjima,
も
right?
しおばさんのヒントで解けたなら1割の半分でもいいから分けっこしてね。約束よ。
Despite being my own, she gave me a smile and a wink which would make a man's heart jump. As I helped her wash the coffee cups, I kept pondering the epitaph's riddle in silence. After I finished helping Aunt Rosa, I passed through the corridor on my way to the bathroom and saw Erika unlocking the door to a room on my path.
あんたの部屋は2階じゃなかったか？
What you doing?
てっきり上に上がってもう部屋で休んでるのかと思ってたぜ。
ちょっと探し物をしてまして、ここにならあるのではないかと思いまして。
What, the library?
探し物？
Erika unlocked the door and opened it. Sorry. A dusty smell drifted out. It's the library. There we go. It was the library. For a library, the gaps between bookshelves were extremely small. This was obviously built for storing books, not reading them.
探し物ってのは本なのか？
本と言いますか、まあ資料です。どうしてもしたい調べ物がありまして。
碑文の謎に関する探し物か？まだ諦めてなかったとは殊勝なこったな。200億の黄金は魅力か？
I guess. I hadn't given up either. Apparently being stubborn is something we both share.
まさか。
Because you're both controlled by the same person.
私にとって興味があるのは謎。黄金を求めるのは推理が正しかったことの証明が欲しいからだけです。仮に見つけても猫パパなんてしませんのでご安心を。
She immediately passed my comment aside, saying that she just liked solving riddles and had no interest at all in the gold. I thought she was pretty weird from the start, and it looks like that impression was spot on. Weirdo. Erika slowly circled the bookshelves, searching for the book she was after.
碑文の謎解きなら俺もまだ挑戦中だぜ。ああ、そうそう。さっきローザおばさんに第一の番のヒントになるかもしれない。
伺います。
Erika asked this without stopping her search or even turning to face me.
第一の番にの前の行に鍵を手にせし者は以下に従いうんぬんってのがあったろ。
鍵を手にせし者は以下に従いて黄金鏡へ旅立つべし。
ふう、もう暗記したのかよ。さすがだな。
それがどうかしたんですか？
黄金鏡へ旅立つべしだろ。ローザおばさんは第10の番、すなわち10日をかけて懐かしき故郷から黄金鏡へ向けてということを連想したらしい。
実はそれは私も気づいてました。10日かかる旅路の1日目にたどり着く場所。そこから生贄を捧げる。
ああ、ローザおばさんもまさにそれを想像した。面白い推理だと俺も思う。10日の旅の初日にたどり着く場所、その土地、もしくは地名が鍵になるんじゃねえかってな。
地名が鍵になるのではないかという推測は私だから資料が見たいんです。推測を確信に変えるために。
あんた探し物は何なんだ？
Then Erika's hand suddenly stopped and she slowly pulled it out. As she dusted it up, she finally looked at me and spoke. What's up?
地図帳です。
An atlas. wonder if I'll stop here. I think, yeah, I think I'll stop here for now. Interesting outfit, by the way. Save. Off on the pleasure boat Eternal May 2, mid-cruise in the waters near Rokkenjima. On October 4th, 1986, she drifted to Rokkenjima, and the Ushiromiya family welcomed her as a guest. She managed to drift to the island unharmed thanks to the several miracles, including the fact that she was wearing a life jacket. Oh well, I guess. Okay. Let's stop for today. I've read enough for today. It's like been 3 hours of reading, so... Title. Let me see if there's anyone I can raid. Oop, oop. Let me just do this. Thank you. You're welcome. No big deal. So let me see if there's anybody I can raid tonight still. Let's raid. How are they doing? There are some online. I want to see who's doing what. Opa. How's Cutie keep going? Oh, is this almost over? Hold on. No, that's not what I wanted. Good stream and great new outfit. Thank you, Komamaru. That's very sweet. Okay. I think I decided let's raid Eddie. As usual. I was going to raid to BCU first, but it looks like they finished for tonight. I don't know. So, or are they done for tonight? I don't know. I think they are. Let's just raid Eddie, and that'll be fine. Okay. Then I'm going to be doing some art stream next Tuesday, and I'll be seeing you guys then. Bye bye!